I know I get under people's skin sometimes. I know this. I think it's just the way I talk to people, man. I don't know, because truth, justice, and the National Football Show way of thinking when it comes to pro ball. Good afternoon. Welcome aboard. Please hit the like button. Before I get going, though, this is aimed at Micah Parsons, and I hope you're watching, Micah. You know, he and I got into an exchange on Twitter at Dan Sileo Show. And I said, wasn't really talking to him. Hey, dude, note to sports broadcasters. Micah Parsons is not Lawrence Taylor. He is not. And he got his panties in a bind because you know why? He got his ass kicked when he was directly playing against Lane Johnson. He wanted no part of Lane. Lane was killing that guy. Watch it. Rewatch the game again. Then I said, look, well, Lane did kill you. Then you started picking on Jack Driscoll. I mean, quite frankly, there's a reason that there's a first team and a second team, Micah. Bro, don't get your panties in a bind. You're a fine ball player. But you guys got your ass kicked, and we kind of laid out that game plan on Friday. So once again, welcome aboard. Eagles get it done, 26-17. I'm going to give you my takeaways here in a second. I thought the environment was spectacular. And remember what I said to you on Friday. I can't see the Cowboys scoring more than 20 points. I can't even see them scoring 20 points. And they got to 17. Dude, Cooper Rush is Cooper Rush for a reason. The Giants may actually be better than the Cowboys. They may actually be better, okay? And I just didn't see the offense. To me, that was a defensive football game, and I want to get into the takeaways now. We'll get to the team stats, which were clear. There's a few stats that kind of stick out on why the Eagles won this ball game. And hey, quite frankly, I thought that they pretty much controlled the game, and they played low percentage turnover football like we said they had to. The biggest third down play that the Eagle offense has is Jalen Hurts outside the pocket. Remember I told you? He is elite outside the pocket. He's not elite in the pocket. But that's okay. You're 6-0 going into the bye. Not much more to be said here. The Eagle defense really was the catalyst in this ball game on Sunday night. I thought they really did a fine job at bottling it up. Cowboys were able to run the ball somewhat effectively. I thought that Ezekiel Elliott may have played one of his better games that I've seen him play over the last couple months. But the Eagle defense, I thought, really played well. And what was the most important thing we said? Make Cooper Rush beat you. He can't. Okay? Make Cooper Rush beat you. He cannot beat you. He can't. There's no way on the planet that guy's going to beat a 5-0 at the time Philadelphia Eagle football team. There was no way they were going to beat the Eagles with Cooper Rush. And they put the ball in his hands. And they made him have to try to win the game. Okay? You can make all the excuses you want. End of the day, they stepped up. The defense did a nice job. And the offense did exactly what they're schooled to do. Run you over. What did I say too? Run the ball right at Micah Parsons. It's kind of what they did. I thought they wore his ass out. I'm going to say something funny. You know what Xander said? Xander said that Jalen may have played his worst game of the season so far when it comes to throwing the ball. But he did say this, which is the most important thing. He knows how to win games. I'm going to say this to you. I thought he was masterful. And you're going to go, Sills, 155? He didn't need to throw for 355. They didn't need to. Remember what I said? Run the clock down on Dallas and run them off the field. Cooper Rush is going to turn the ball over if he has to throw the ball. And he did. They played right into the hands of the coaching staff of the Eagles. Personally, I think both offense and defensively, The people who should be taking bows today is the coaching staff. They laid the mousetrap for them. Dallas fell right into it, and no doubt, Rush couldn't beat them. And without a doubt, one of the most important things, they ran the ball right down their throat. The last drive was awesome because they ran the clock and they had field position. So those RPOs, I'll tell you one thing that they're doing too. The RPOs that they're running, now look, it's not a professional passing attack. The Philadelphia Eagles do not have a pro passing attack. But they're 6-0. Who cares? Who cares? Like when you watch Josh Allen play, that's a whole different story when you're talking about NFL passing games. But they've mastered it. ONSYN, A+ win, but this team has to play better. They play to what is needed. They play to what is needed. They didn't need to be a high-passing attack football team against Dallas. Dallas was not going to beat that football team. Okay? You're not beating the Eagles with Cooper Rush. Dak Prescott, okay? Dak Prescott has to be put back in the offense. Steve says, I hate Gannon playing soft in the second half. Steve, he's afraid of plus 25 plays. There's no doubt. We'll get into all of that here. Okay? GT says Hurts is 6-0. Actually, Hurts has won 11 of the last 12 ball games. If you want to put that in context and proper perspective, he's won 11 of the last 12 regular season ball games. So you could put that in there. I thought it'd be, again, 28-20, Eagles, but the defense did a nice job, and they have done a nice job at not surrendering points. You hold a pro football team under 20 points, okay, that's a good job. And by the way, Cooper Rush, I don't really think he was hot coming into that thing. I think he was doing exactly what the coaching staff in Dallas was asking him to do. I mean, 10 of 16 against the Rams. Him coming in, he wasn't throwing for 350 yards a game. That's not who that guy was. I didn't buy into the hype. I think he's a 28-year-old, what does Shannon Sharp call him? An intern. I call him a substitute teacher. That Dallas Cowboy team, I don't know. I thought they're pretty good defensively, especially in the front, but I didn't see anything exceptional. I didn't see anything exceptional on Sunday. And get this, the Eagles didn't have to put on the gas pedal more. They did exactly what they needed to do. They played smart football, and they wore their asses out, especially Parsons. Parsons is getting in a back and forth with me on Twitter and barking at me going, I didn't watch the game. Son, I watched the game, and I watched your front seven in that final drive get knocked off the football. You're living in denial, and it's not a river in Egypt. You got knocked off the ball, son. You got knocked off the ball. Lucia says the Eagles will play better after the bye when they get healthy. Yeah, Lane Johnson going out is what turned Parsons loose. Going against Jack Driscoll. Jack did as good a job as he could. Hey, I give him high marks for going against one of the best defenders in the National Football League. They still won the ball game. Okay? They still won the ball game. We're going to get to the stats here in a second. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I think Micah Parsons looked average because you know why? They did the most important thing you do to a pass rusher like him. Run at him. I did, man. 3 tackles, no sacks. Yeah, when he was on Lane, this guy had no stats. So, look, the numbers aren't really good passing-wise, but they didn't need to. Remember, I told you guys this on Friday. They don't need to throw the ball. They did exactly the game plan I thought they would. And they executed it almost flawlessly, and their quarterback is the catalyst of that. Dude, he breaks your ass, and he destroys your ass on third down run plays. Shit, man. And by the way, A.J. Brown, I told you, he can make 4 or 5 catches in a ball game too. And man, I'll tell you what, getting him on the ground is an event. Getting him on the ground is an event. Okay? I mean, he is a handful to get on the ground. Hey, Greg, Lane Johnson is unbelievable. He's having the best year for any tackle in the NFL. Now, the only issue would be is this. He's a right tackle, not a left tackle. That's not the elite position. Okay? That's not the elite position. Right tackles are your second guy, but he's playing elite right now. He's the best right tackle in the game. There's no doubt about that. Left tackle's where you make all your money, though. Okay? Sills. They had some TDs for Hurts. He did. He had 2 of them. Okay? Good. He's got 6 now on the year. Fantastic. Not elite. Stop it. You're an RPO offense. Plain and simple. You are an RPO offense. More dominantly on the run side. It's okay to wear that moniker. That's who you are. Okay, Solo, you're an elite RPO offense. That's what you are. Okay? You know, it's funny. Dominique says Hurts is elite in an RPO offense. Maybe. Not in a pro-style offense, in a spread offense he's not, which most NFL teams run because of the rules of the game today. You do not have an elite passing game. That's not what this is. It's a customized game plan for Jalen Hurts. And it's working. And it's working well. Every single game, all 6 games heading into the bye, there is no doubt about it. The most important thing that the Eagles have done, they've customized a offense around an RPO offense. It's RPO, run pass option. I don't know what you're watching. It's a run pass option offense. And they've customized it to this guy's skill set. Fantastic. Okay? It's an RPO offense. Okay? You're never going to see gigantic numbers in the passing game because you don't have to. You don't have to. When you have the ability to run people off the field and off the clock, why? Why would I give 3 and outs? That's the thing going on with the Packers right now. Too many 3 and outs. How many times did you watch that game on Sunday that the Eagles were in? They were in 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay? So that's easily going to be an area where the football team is going to dominate in any game when you're 3rd and short consistently. Look, 6 touchdown passes on the year in 6 games. Seriously, you're on pace for 17 touchdowns in your passing game. There's a guy in Buffalo that has 20 touchdown passes right now. Okay? Let's put that in perspective. There's a guy in Buffalo who has 20 passing touchdowns. That's a spread offense. That's a guy who throws the ball around. That's a guy who goes into Kansas City and wins ball games. That is the best passer in the game. And it's not close to the numbers. Here's where the game was won. 26-17. I don't know how many games now we're looking at. Is it 3 games in a row now under 30? The Eagles don't really need to put up 35 points in a game. They don't have to. Okay? Hey, oh, and by the way, Drew, hey, Xander, who did I say that the Eagles would play in the Super Bowl in March? Did I say the Bills in the Super Bowl? I said it would be Bills and Eagles in the Super Bowl. We have tape on that. Bills and Eagles will play in the Super Bowl in Glendale. I made that prediction months and months ago before anybody was talking about the 6-0 Philadelphia Eagles. Right, Drew? The Eagles will play the Buffalo Bills for the Super Bowl. First downs, pretty even. 22-21. Third downs, Cowboys 6 of 14. That's really good still. Eagles 4-10. Total yards, 268 for the Eagles, 315 for the Cowboys. The Cowboys had empty calorie stats at the end of the ball game. They're playing from behind. That's why they're going to put up bigger numbers. Okay? Passing, 132 yards credited for the Eagles, 181 for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go over here. Okay? Flex. Next year is when we'll see Hurts take that step as a passer. Absolutely, Flex. Flex. Let it happen. It is happening. It's progressively getting better. Okay? It's progressively getting better. Absolutely. The thing that's going to make Jalen a better passer is the way he thinks himself around a football field. He's not an elite passer right now, but he's going to get there. And it's only 6 weeks in to a season where he's getting better and better and better at thinking his way around a football field. There is no doubt about it. Okay? Okay? Every Monday bad for Sills? Let me see. I don't see where it's bad. Thank you. Rushing, 136 for the Eagles, 134 for the Cowboys. Penalties. Once again, the Dallas Cowboys are the most undisciplined football team in the National Football League. 10 penalties, 72 yards. They are the dumbest team on the planet. And do me a favor, stop blaming Mike McCarthy for that. Mike McCarthy has nothing to do with dumbass people. Nothing. Those are the people you bring into your team. You can't make critical mistakes at critical times. The Cowboys are notorious for doing this. Okay? Notorious for being dumbass football thinkers in critical situations. You're in a game that will determine the lead in the NFC East, and you come up with 10 penalties for 72 yards, and most of those penalties were stupid as you can get. Eagles, 2 penalties for 10 yards. Spectacular. Here's the other number that won the game. Turnovers. Eagles 0. Cowboys 3. Night. See you later. Cooper Rush? Yes. 3 turnovers. Game. You can't have 3 turnovers versus a football team that could run you off the field and plays disciplined football. Look at the difference right there in those stats alone. Penalties. Cowboys 10 for 72. Eagles 2 penalties for 10 yards. And then the most important one, 3 turnovers. They're disciplined. The Eagles are disciplined, and they went into this football team and in this football game and played that way. They were absolutely smart when they went into that, and they played to the Cowboys' weakness. You know what that was? Remember this on Friday? I don't really think that the Cowboy front 7 is that great at stopping the run. And that turned out to be a factor. And on third down, they could not control Jalen Hurts outside the pocket. They could not control him on that. So Jalen thought himself around that football field. Okay? He thought himself around it. Now remember something. This football team is an RPO-centric team. They're not going to beat you throwing for 375 yards. That's not who they are. I actually, in a way, would rather be what the Eagles are doing. I'll tell you why. Because it sets a tone. It's a fist fight. When you fight a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, that's not a power team. That's a finesse team. When you fight the Eagles, you're in a fist fight. You're in a fist fight. You've got to put your mouthpiece in and make sure your chin strap's buckled. Because if you don't, you're going to get knocked on your back. They set a tone. Of all the teams in the league, it could be the toughest team to have to game plan against, because that football team is going to punch you in the face like they're Mike Tyson. Said it also on Friday. If you're Mike Tyson, why would I jab you? I'm going to throw haymakers. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is who I am. Okay? Again, That's who they are. You said he couldn't throw for TDs. He's got 6. Don't go crazy, my friend, because he has 2 in a game. He's got 6 on the season. It's one of the worst passing offenses in the league with your measly 6 touchdown passes. Why are you concentrating on that? Concentrate more on the 6-0. He's got 6 touchdown passes. Relax. 6 TD passes in 6 games. I mean, it's at the bottom of the league. Don't go crazy. They're 6-0. They're an RPO offense. That's exactly who they are. Okay? Nobody more. Nobody more. 6 passing touchdowns is not elite in this league. I don't care what you say. He had a 104 rating. Okay. Phenomenal. Great. 25 attempts, 155 yards. Again, they didn't need to do more. I'm not upset with the passing numbers. Not. They didn't need to go nuts. Okay, we're going to get on the defensive side, fly here in a second here. Okay. Hurts, 15 completions. 25 attempts, 155, 2 touchdowns. Cooper Rush, 18 of 38, 181, 1 touchdown and 3 picks. Zeke, 13 carries, 81, 6.2 yards a carry. They started picking it up a little bit, especially in the second half when it came to running the ball, especially when they got the ball coming out of halftime. Miles had 18 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown, 3.9. Probably one of his lowest yards per carry game of the year so far. Look, Eagles did exactly what they needed to do. They put the ball in the hands of Cooper Rush and said, go beat us, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And in the process, they set the tone. You know, some would go like this. Sills, what do you make of Hurts' numbers after this game against Dallas? I'm going to flat out go this way with you. It's not so much about his numbers. It's about the way he thought himself around the field. It's about the way that the team needed a particular play, whether it was running on third down, whether it was breaking down the edges on the Cowboys, whether it was running at them. The coaching staff and Shane Steichen and Nick Siriani and Jalen Hurts absolutely did a great job at really, there was nothing fancy about that game. There was nothing fancy about that game on Sunday, except this. Hey, it's a fist fight. There was nothing fancy about it. Nothing. That wasn't a fancy win. Dude, the Minnesota Viking game so far is the best game of the year for the Eagles. That thing, dude, the Cowboys, I never bought into the hype. I thought they were playing well. Remember what I said? There's not a place on the field except their edge rushers. And those edge rushers picked it up a little bit in the second half. I'll give them that, but they weren't any game changers when it came to the Cowboy players. At almost every single, hey, I thought Dan Quinn kind of helped them get back in the game when it was 2017. Okay? The best coach Dallas has is their coordinator. Other than that, okay? Until 205 says, until someone can prove they can beat us in that style, keep it up. Amen. Amen. There's no reason to have a Josh Allen offense, and the Eagles don't. They don't need it. They're beating you up, okay? There's nothing finesse about that team. Nothing. Nothing finesse. Media always builds the Cowboys up. Yeah, made for really a letdown on the Cowboys side because you walked away from that game going, they need Dak in that starting lineup. And it was on display. When the Eagles said, beat us, they couldn't. Steve says, Sills, we have a problem with our defense. We have no pass rush in the second half, and I'm concerned about our defense. Do you worry about the Eagles' defense? I thought the Eagle defense did a great job in this ball game. They made that guy have to throw the ball. They made Mike They made all the guys' decisions, and they had to make Cooper Rush beat them, and they couldn't do it, and they did it. Now, the run game a little bit picked up for the Cowboys in the second half coming out of halftime. Okay, Zeke was running with authority a little bit, but Zeke's a good ball player. They get paid too, you know? If Dak played, we would have won too. Absolutely, Nick. I'm not saying that Dak Prescott would have beat the Eagles on Sunday night. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying he gives them a better chance to win. That's all. I'm saying he gives them a better chance. I do not. Yeah, that's a good point too. I do not believe that. I just want you to understand this. I'm going to underline this. I do not believe in any shape or form that Dak Prescott would have beat the Eagles on Sunday night. Absolutely not. But he would have given them a better chance. Would have given them a better chance. Only reason they did run on us is they were down 20-3 and the Eagles were looking to make them throw it. Well, okay. Zeke did have 6.2 yards of carry in the ball game. They double-teamed Jordan Davis, which opened up the run. Well, someone else has got to make plays. You got two guys in there making $30 million combined. You got to have people in there making plays. By the way, did Hassan Reddick get off the bus? Yeah, he got off the bus. Not gigantic, but he made some pressures in there. Parsons got off the bus a little bit. It was okay. Okay, not like the previous two games, but he got off the bus. He showed up. I saw him with some pressures in the ball game. Okay. I saw some missed tackles. I think TJ had a better ball game. Kaiser made some big plays. Bradbury was really good. CJ was really good. Okay? CJ was really good in that ball game. He has been, and every time I watch CJ play, he's getting better and better and better and better. As more he's understanding what they're asking him to do, CJ is getting better. He is a huge asset back there because you can put him in the slot as a safety. You could put him at corner if you have any kind of injuries. This guy here is very versatile. How the Saints let that guy roll out of the building, I'm really shocking. That guy can play, man. He's a good football player. He is a really good football player. And that secondary right now for the Eagles has been upgraded more than the front seven. I thought the front seven of the Eagle defense was going to be better, and I thought they were going to be the strength of the defense. It's not. It's the secondary. But in today's NFL, that's what you want. You got to be able to pressure the quarterback, and you got to have cover corners because most teams throw the ball 38 times a game. Okay? They throw the ball 38 times a game. Dan, are we the most physical team now? You said Niners at the beginning. Absolutely, Zach. The Eagles are the most dominant team and most physical team in the league like you were in 17. And I'm going to say it again to you guys, and I'm going to put this out there, and I'm going to put this out there for a receipt for you guys to remember. The Eagle offense right now looks like that 17 offense when it comes to point of attack and running the ball. You don't have the passing game that you had in 17. But what you do have is you're more dominant at the line of scrimmage, I think, than what that team was. Okay? And the quarterback changes the dynamic. Hurts was nothing like and playing nothing like the MVP Wentz or even Foles when Foles took over. Okay? There's no similarities. This is completely different. It's okay. You're 6-0. Don't fret about it. Like someone said, until somebody stops it, that's when you have to worry about it. Till then, nobody has shown a propensity to stop it yet. The passing game needs to improve. Feast with Pete. You know what? Here's the deal, though. They didn't have to throw the football in that game against the Cowboys. Why? Why have a high percentage turnover play on 3rd down and 7 when you can run the ball with Hurts outside the pocket? I wouldn't. They had no – the point in that game was this. The turnovers, the 3 turnovers in the game destroyed the Cowboys' opportunities, in my opinion, at having any chance of coming back in that football game. Okay? Barrett Brooks, I was listening to Barrett on Sports Take. He's right. Lane beat the shit out of Micah Parsons in that ball game. And Micah got all upset with me because I didn't even really aim it at him. I said the media people blew him up like he's LT. That dude is not Lawrence Taylor. You know, he's lucky if he's Pat Swilling. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I have not watched a football game where I go like this. That guy is a force yet. You want to know a force? Get some game film out on Lawrence Taylor. Any game you want. You get this. You could pick any game you want of LT, win or lose. He's a force. He is a force in that ball game. An absolute force. Anthony says TJ Edwards struggled a bit. Worrisome. That's the second game in a row, Anthony. I thought he played a little better than he did last week. Okay? I thought he played a little better than he did last week, but I still saw some false steps, and I think the Cowboy offensive line, I think they were baiting him to take those false steps with some false reads in there, and he's got to understand influence blocks better. Ask Barrett Brooks tomorrow on Sports Take what an influence block is, and he'll tell you it's a false read, and you're going to have a false step. That's experience. There were a couple of those in there, and you've got to know when a guy makes a step to your left and you see the center go away, your immediately is not to go outside here. It's to look back inside because it's an influence block. They may be trying to wham you. They may be trying to run the fullback at you. Okay? That just comes with more experience in the middle in there. Dan, did you hear Mulata say Stoutland University? Look, Jeff Stoutland is no question about it the best offensive line coach in the National Football League, and he's the best offensive line coach on the planet right now. I mean, you can go Alex Gibb. You could talk about Hudson Houck. You could talk about some of the people that have been the great O-line coaches in the history of the sport. Joe Bugle comes to mind, too, with the Hogs. This guy's right there, too. There is no question about it that he's in that conversation, too. Maybe time to start giving Dean some time. I don't know. I don't know about that. I not now. Not now. Okay. If he can't play with Edwards playing the way he did dude, I'll tell you, I'm going to say it again. The secondary is killing it. The Eagles, this is the best Eagles secondary since 17. Dude, that secondary's killing it. They are the people that are shutting down Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, all these other guys that roll in there and play against them guys. They're killing it. And you know, when you guys were sitting there going, Sills, I think we have the best corners in the league. I think you're right. As a duo, I think you're right, dude. Okay? I think you're right. Special teams, that's not that's not affected them just yet. You know what I'm saying? It will rear its head somewhere. But right now, okay, they could bring that along because they're dominating people at the point of attack here. Okay? Better than Lito Shepherd? Nick, I said as a group. I'm talking as a group. Okay? As a group. That secondary, the safety play has absolutely been a surprise. The safeties have done a tremendous job. And the corners are outstanding. There is no doubt that the thing that the Eagles have over a lot of teams in key positions, watch this, the money positions. What are the money positions? Your corners get the best duo. Your pass rush is adequate enough. Your tackles are some of the best. Watch this. How many people think that the Eagles have the best duo in tackles in the league? So you have the best corner duos, the best tackle duos, and you have potentially two of the best wide receiver duos, Devontae Smith and AJ. Dude, this is a team sport. You can have one athlete, one guy here, one guy here. That's what the Rams have right now. They've got Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, and everyone else is getting killed this year. Everyone else is getting killed. Okay? That's why they're getting blown off the ball and getting upset. Is because They have no O-line. They have no tackles. Their run game is pathetic, and their quarterback is getting hit. And one of their wideouts is not showing up. And Allen Robinson. You don't have at any position except for maybe Lane, the best player in the NFL. Okay? But what you have is duos. Those are more important. Wouldn't you rather have two better corners than any team in the league? Instead of just having one guy where they could go to the other side of the field? You can't go to the other side of the field on the Eagles. You can't go against Philly and go like this. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just stay away from Slay. That's not working. Bradbury's stepping right in. You see him jump a couple routes last night because he was reading a pathetic Cooper Rush, who we told you the whole week, this guy here, man, he's a substitute teacher. This guy's not going to frighten anybody in a ball game. He's not been asked to go out and win a game. He's been asked to hang in there. He's been asked to hang in there. And the Cowboy faithful and everybody in the media was blowing this guy up like this guy's just, and I'm like, he's Cooper freaking Rush. The Giants cut his ass. You think if the Giants thought he was a good ball player, they would have kept him? They cut him. He's 28. He's a substitute teacher. By the way, that is not a shot at Philly. They can't help who they put in there. You'll never hear me go like this. Well, Jalen beat us. No, they beat the Cowboys on Sunday night, and they beat them handily, I thought. That you're not hearing me say that at all. Well, he beat it back. That ain't on the Eagles. Because you're not healthy? How's that on them? I always tell you, when you see Roger Federer or Rafi Nadal play somebody and somebody gets hurt and, he beat a stiff. Well, that's not on them. That's on the Cowboys, dog. Goddard is not the best tight end. He's great, though. Boy, he dropped a couple passes in that ball game last night, too, and it made you rear your head back and go, shit, dude. If you're going to be Travis Kelce, you got to be better than that. Because now, get this. If we're going to start talking Dallas Goedert and Travis Kelce, now we're going to be more critical. That's what, by the way, I wanted to make sure that we brought that point up. When we're talking about Jalen Hurts now, the reason that we're talking and being critical of Jalen Hurts is because now he's being considered and being compared to the elite guys in the game. It's like being compared to Jordan or Brady. Once you're at that level like that, criticism comes. I don't care who you are. You're going to get it. This is not a pom-pom show. We don't sit here and have pom-poms. Oh, go. And that's not what I do. And if you think that's what I do, you need to find a different show. Because what we look at is what they're doing right now best. And you know what that is? Beating people up. That's what the Eagles are doing right now. Now, I want to get to this point on Jalen Hurts. Here, let me look at the numbers again. Let me say this to you here. 15, 25, 155, 2 touchdowns. Guys, that was a defining moment for him. The moment was not too big for Jalen Hurts last night. He lived in the moment. You see Cooper Rush? Dude, that guy was butter in a frying pan. That guy was nervous. He was all over the place. He felt the pressure in the pocket. He didn't have enough skill set to get his team out of issues when they needed him the most on 3rd and short or 3rd and long. He couldn't do it. He could not do it. Jalen thought himself around and was cool, calm, and collected. That was a defining moment for him. Right, G-Meta? No turnovers. That is, watch this. Do you know that's the most important stat that he had last night? Not the 2 touchdowns. Okay, how many times do you see 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions by certain quarterbacks and they lose a ball game because it's not because they threw for 4 touchdowns. It's because they made the critical mistakes in those games. Jalen had 2 touchdowns last night with no turnovers, and it wasn't close. That's how you win. It's the mistakes, the team that makes the less mistakes. This sounds so elementary, but the team that makes the less mistakes is going to win every game that they're in, not the team that makes the exceptional down the field 85-yard pass. This is an RPO offense that beats you up at the point of attack. It's no more. That's their identity. That is who they are. They're an RPO offense. And they're okay with being called that. Okay? They're okay with that. Now it's not to TD. RJ, he's got 6 freaking touchdown passes. Wake up. The guy in Buffalo threw 4 in one game, has got 20 on the season. That is an elite passing game. Not 6. 6 TD passes? Where's he at? Oklahoma again? What is he running? The wishbone? 6. 6. After 2 months of football. Give me a break, guy. That is not an NFL passing offense. But it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. How about this? It's the only offense. Hey, would you rather be this, though? It's the only offense of its kind in the league. It's a blown-up version of a Wildcat that's run successfully with possibly the best Wildcat quarterback in the game and we've ever seen. I don't know what the hell is wrong with being that. When you're unique, you win. That offense is unique. They beat you with running the ball. They're not beating you passing the ball. That's not what they are. There's no elite about the passing game in Philadelphia. It's not. I don't know how you look at it. I don't give a shit about, hey, you give me all this passer rating and all this other shit. When I bring it up about Kirk Cousins, you guys call it empty calories. Okay? The most important thing he is 6-0, not 6 touchdowns, and I know that. But don't tell me something that's not true. Okay? Jesus, criminy. Unbelievable. Again, they win ball games because they run the rock so effectively and because they're so dominant. And I'll tell you again, the defense, I thought, won that football game on Sunday. They did exactly what they needed. And again, I'm with D Gun on this. Jonathan Gannon, to me, I do not think is a good coordinator. I just do not believe he's a good offensive or defensive coordinator. I do not. Now, the players that they have brought in fit his system. Bro, anytime I hear a system defensive coordinator, I laugh at that. You build a system around the talent you have on the field. You don't plug and play. That's why you see teams come back on him in the second half. Because you know why? Those teams make adjustments. They go into halftime and they make adjustments on Gannon. And that's what Gannon. Tell me this is not the formula for Jonathan Gannon. He'll come out and have a really good game plan in the first half. Team makes adjustments. He goes back into that soft coverage, plays everything underneath. Teams fight back in the second half of games. And every team that the Eagles have played this year, from Detroit on, that's been the MO of every single team. Every single team that they have, that's what they do, right? That's because what he does is he's aggressive with you. He gets the lead. Then he pulls back. Teams find the zone and the holes in the zone, and they're able to come back, especially if they can run the ball a little bit like Dallas can. Not too hard to see. Okay? Not too hard to see. I mean, that's what he does. And then he plays everything underneath. Okay? Charles goes, we don't care. We're 6-0. Correct. Don't get yourself bent on labels. People get bent on labels. You should be bent on results more than labels. But see, that's a society thing. You don't like labels. Dude, I want to be in a conversation about results, not labels. Labels are dumb. Jesus criminy, man. You're winning ball games. Rashad Sills, if Hurts plays out the season like this, what's his next contract worth? Let's again, it's a good conversation because we're now in the bye. It's a good conversation, okay? Okay, what do you do now that you're in the bye at 6-0? By By the way, 11-12, he's won. 11-12. What do you do with Jalen Hurts now? The conversation, and again, it's hard to put a salary on him because he's not Josh Allen. He's not Mahomes. He's not Burrow or them dudes. He's never going to put up those kind of numbers like that for a full year. He's not. It's not who he is. However, you're winning 11-12 ball games. There's got to be some metric that you have that you think is going to be something that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman have to come to the table with and say, here's the metric. Because personally, it's hard to put a label on him and it's hard to put a price tag on him because he's not like the other NFL quarterbacks. There's got to be a value on him getting out on third down and being elite in open space. Same way there is for Lamar. He's not Deshaun Watson. He's not any of those kind of passers. It's not $20 million. Dude, $20 million? Clutch Sports would laugh at you. $50 million a year? No way. Not going there. I don't know. And by the way, style of play doesn't have a high ceiling when it comes to length of careers. You got to play that into. Hey, by the way, you think I'm going to be hard? You think Jeffrey Lurie and you think Howie Roseman, who likes to cut easy deals for hometown discounts, you think those guys are just going to give him an open checkbook and say, fill it in? Absolutely not. They are not going to give you an open checkbook and go fill it in. Especially with that shit they're watching in Arizona right now. They are not going to do that. That is not going to happen. Not going to happen. There's not going to be an open checkbook. Like I said, he's not going to throw for high volume touchdowns. Okay? Are you going to hold that against him? How are you going to go into negotiations with him with a guy who doesn't throw for a lot of touchdowns? Okay? It's not a prolific passing attack. Okay? You don't score a lot of points out of it. Get this. Isn't that crazy? He threw for 2 touchdowns and he's still at 6. I've never seen a team undefeated getting to a bye where your quarterback's throwing for 6 touchdowns. I've never seen, maybe in college or high school, but never in the pros. I've never seen anything like it. But you got to figure out dude, if you're Howie Roseman and you're Jeffrey Lurie, you got to start having that conversation internally with your management team. Okay? You got to start having that conversation. Hey, what's the guy worth at the end? What are we going to start talking about with extension at the end of the year here with this guy? Where are we going? Okay, what's going to be the price tag on that? Remember what we said? We get to the bye, we could have that conversation on what price it's going to be. By the way, I not only think that the price is going to be an issue, but I also think that the length of years is going to be an issue. And if I'm Jalen Hurts, listen, guys, don't do what Patrick Mahomes did and sign a 10-year contract. Market value is going to change constantly because the salary cap is going to go up and it's going to go up. It ain't going down. Unless there's another pandemic, that salary cap is not going down. The price tag for Hurts, there's got to be a different metric on how you look at him and how you put a price tag on it. What is that metric? Is it winning? Well, as I said to you last week, one of the most important things that winning shows you is that not everybody gets paid for it. Okay? Garoppolo, I know they got beat. He's 40-19 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not getting paid because he's winning. Okay? He's not. And he's gone to important ball games. That was the most important game that Jalen Hurts has played, that Cowboy game. Okay? Most important win in his career. Now we have a benchmark. What's the best game? Look at this. Some of you will go, Sills, he didn't really play the best in it. Dude, you beat Dallas Sunday night. You're 6-0, and you got a 2-game lead on them. I don't know. You know, I feel pretty good about where I am compared to where Dallas is. Shit, the Giants are in better shape. Can't believe what the Giants are doing. I'll tell you this. Brian Dable has totally opened my eyes. What a great situation they got going in the Meadowlands. And you know what? The Giants just might be better than the Cowboys. They just might be better. Their back is more livelier. Their receivers aren't all that bad. Their defense is playing a little bit better. Even the kid Daniel Jones doesn't look as half bad as it is. Eat your crow, Sills? What crow? I said they'd win. What the hell are you talking about? Old news, dude. I did say 2-4. Old news. Weeks ago. Old news. I know you're probably new to the show, but it's all good, kid. Giants have a better coach than the Cowboys. Okay? What would be that price tag for Hurts? Boy, I don't know how they're going to look at valuing Jalen. Okay? I really do not. Okay? I have no idea how this guy is going to be. Okay? I have no idea how they're going to put a value on this. I have no idea how they're going to do this. Okay? I'm not moving anything. Moving what? I have not wavered one bit on him. I'm telling you what he's doing. Here, see this guy, Dwayne? He wants me to tell you and be one of those idiot broadcasters in Philly and say, hey, he still sucks. I hate. He's playing better. Dude, I don't forecast shit. I tell you what's going on right now. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm a sports dude. Okay? And the reason why the goalposts are changing, because Hurts is changing and getting better. Doesn't it make any sense to you, or are you that much of an idiot? If my take, it's not a take. It's an observation. Last year, that guy was very mediocre. This year, he's getting better. What do you want me to do? Lie? He's not? Good grief. Boy, I mean, how you folks listen to certain people, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. And what's his? He only threw for 155 yards. I still think he played really well because he thought himself around the field. I'll tell you what, Kyler Murray couldn't have beat that Dallas Cowboy team last night. No way. No way could Kyler Murray have beaten that team. He ain't smart enough. That kid's not smart enough or mature enough to beat a team like Dallas. He is not. He is absolutely not smart enough, nor is he football savvy enough to understand how you beat a team. The kid that plays in Philly is. Okay? David says, Hurts is the same. You're changing. He wasn't like this last year, David. That's a freaking lie, and you know it. He beat no winning team last year, and they won because they ran the ball. He was the caboose last year, and they pulled him to the playoffs. He was their best running back last year. He wasn't a really good quarterback. Now he's evolving. Okay? Now he's evolving. Parson called Sills a bum. Dude, if Micah Parsons gives a shit what Dan Sileo thinks, Michael Parsons has a problem. You know how many times Xander tells me, Sills, why do you go to the dregs of life when they say stupid shit to you? Michael Parsons just showed you that ego, no matter if it's Dan Sileo or Michael Parsons. I wasn't even talking to him. I was talking about him. And he, again, and I even followed it up saying, kid, I think you're a fine ball player. I wouldn't worry too much about me. I was talking more about the sports broadcasters. But he kept on. And then I said, you know, Lane Johnson did kick your ass, guy. And it's at Dan Sileo Show. I didn't say anything over the line or out of hand. All I said was truce. Then he started saying I wasn't watching the game. I said, Jack Driscoll guy? Jack Driscoll's the guy you beat. You didn't beat Lane. Lane tortured you. Lane Johnson beat you up, dude. And so while all you guys are sitting here thinking that I'm talking shit on Philly and the Eagles, I defended you against Michael Parsons on my Twitter page saying that Lane beat him up. Don't talk shit to me like that when we're sitting here and I'm on your side. Michael Parsons responded to me. of all people in the media today, he responded to Dan Sileo from JAKIB Sports because he did, and he got his panties in a bind because he got his ass drugged last night because the Eagles did exactly what I want them to do. Run the ball at the guy. Okay? Run the ball at the guy. Okay? And they did. And they beat him up. Then when Lane went out with a concussion, what happened? Okay, he puts him on Jack Driscoll. Jack, I thought, played as well as he could. I thought he played as well as he could, man. And I had a problem the way Jack played. Okay? Maniac O'Sills, you taking a timeout yet? Why should I? It's a great victory last night. You beat the Cowboys, your nemesis. Now you're 2 games up in the East. Big Sills don't need rest. This is fun. You guys won a huge game last night because you know what you did too? You got rid of the ugly Cowboys. They're in your rear view now. This game is going to be something that you're going to reflect back on because what? The hype, first place in the East. This game was worth a game and a half. Okay? I'll talk shit to you, big boy. I don't care what you do. Great. The truth hurts. Sills, do you think we can match the Buccaneers? Hey, guys, let's put that down on paper too. Watch this. Rams. There's no way the Eagles can't beat them. The Bucs. There's no way the Eagles can't beat them. The Packers. Okay, Paul. The Jets owned them in the line of scrimmage. They owned them. I couldn't believe what I was watching. 49ers lost. Rams, Bucs, Packers, 49ers. There's not a team. Oh, didn't all those teams lose over the weekend? Didn't all those teams lose? Rams, Bucs, Packers, and 49ers? I think those – no, the Rams won. Rams won, right? I think they came back and they won. Bucs looked awful. Brady looked awful, screaming at his whole line too. Bro, you get the benefit of the doubt for a certain period of time. Then you get to start doing this. Father time and also this. Your personal life is affecting you and our team. And it's happening, in my opinion, in Tampa. This is the worst year that I've seen Tom Brady play. It's the worst I've seen him play. Overthrows, lack of concentration, lack of focus. That's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady's playing poorly right now. He's playing poorly. And there's no getting around it. I don't care. You know what? And I'm one of the biggest Tom Brady fans. I've not seen Tom Brady play like that. It was only a matter of time. But Tom Brady's playing poorly. Okay? And you see him screaming on the sidelines. It's okay when you're screaming on the sidelines at your offensive line when you're playing well. He's not either. So before you start barking at your old line, you need to take that reflector, put it back, and look at yourself because you're also shitting the bed. Divorce is bothering him? Michael, watch this. I don't give a shit what's bothering you. I don't care if it was in your best interest to tell your wife that you were coming back and that you were going to put your marriage on ice. That's none of my business. I don't give a shit about that. It has no bearing in my life. You were the one that decided to put your marriage in jeopardy, not me. I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm a defensive tackle. I get sick and tired of hearing people talk about them and talk about him like you're a freaking marriage counselor. I'm a defensive tackle or a sportscaster. Play the game, guy, or get the hell out of here. The NFL is that cold. Bro, I don't care about your personal life. I don't care about your religion, your politics, who you're having sex with, who you pray to. I care you show up and play ball and we win. Don't tell me about your marriage shit. I could care less. Giselle, whatever. Whatever, dude. I date strippers. I don't care about Giselle. I'm kidding. Married 33 years. I'm dead. Talking to me about sitting here while caring about Tom Brady's personal life. Screw that. Fuck that. I don't care. Personal life. Success has no personal time. There's no such thing as personal time when you're having success or you want to be the best. You don't sit around and smell the roses. Tom Brady, you know what his problem is? He's looked up instead of his head down. He's looked up. Okay? Jalen's got his head down. He hears no noise. He's got his head down. Most of the time, look at Aaron Rodgers. This guy plays with his head up. So he's had the least amount of success for a guy with that ability than anybody I've ever seen. Okay? Cody, that's right, man. Jalen is earning a mentality. And it's evident when you watch him and see it. I got to take a timeout. Okay? I got to take one. Okay? Listen, man. Bob Sills, your opinion on Parsons has not changed. It was Theismann who said Parsons was a modern-day LT. After the interview, you clearly said Parsons was a good player, but not Taylor. Bob, I think he's like Pat Swilling. I think he's Pat Swilling. I think he's a good player. But that guy, because today's media and social media bullshit, they turned in this guy into Lawrence. Dude, Lawrence Taylor played great in losses. Big Sills needs blood pressure medicine. No, probably a Corona would do. Bottom of the hour, hour number 2, we're going to have our friend Gary Cobb from Fox 29 in Philadelphia join us. We'll get his take. Also, week 6 of the NFL, some massive, massive storylines. And I do want to get into the price tag for Jalen Hurts. We have to come up with a metric on what his value is worth. Everyone has a metric that you're gauged by and that puts your value. We're going to do that. Do me a favor also. Don't forget our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. Means this, they don't get paid unless you do. So we say this to you, my friends. Understand this. If you've ever been hurt or injured on the job, Morgan & Morgan is there for you. They're the biggest law firm in the country, taking care of you and your family with the fair compensation. Over $13.5 billion that they have collected for their clients, they're going to be there to make sure your family is well protected with those 800 attorneys and offices in Philly, New York, and in Florida. No place like it. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. And when you call them, tell them Big Sil sent you.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When you're hit from behind in a car crash, the insurance company may try to say, you can't possibly be hurt. It was only a few miles an hour. It's simply not true. You see, here's the thing. Getting hit at 10 miles per hour is like falling off of this. 15 miles per hour, like this. And only 25 miles per hour, this. Injured, dial pound law. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says yes, you can. Jeff says yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say no, you can't, Jeff says yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services. The first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Welcome back. Hour 2 National Football Show. It's your boy Big Sills here. Don't forget Gary Cobb, bottom of the hour here. I think the Bucs miss Bruce Arians. I think they miss Bruce Arians. Bruce was more of a delegator. And I think Todd is still in that main headset for the defense. And that they've allowed Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich to be on an island by themselves. A good head coach molds that and weaves that together. I think Todd is still figuring that out, and I think it's evident because it looks totally like two different teams. There's no doubt. I'll tell you something, too, about Nick Sirianni. Would we agree that Nick Sirianni right now is the front runner to be the NFL Coach of the Year? Would you agree? That Nick Sirianni right now, you would have to put him in the top spot right now for NFL Coach of the Year. Would there be anyone else? Maybe Brian Daboll? What he's doing with the Giants is remarkable. It is. It's remarkable what he's doing with the Giants. Okay? Right? That's a pretty damn good coaching job that's going on in New York with him. Here's a guy in his first year as a head coach in the National Football League. He's absolutely opening every – hey, I got to tell you, I did not believe that Brian Daboll was a guy that had completely turned that entire organization around in just a brief few months. Dave Gettleman had that thing in ruin. It was like Rome on fire. And he has gone in there with the new GM, and they have absolutely masterfully turned the entire image around of the New York Giants. They play hard. They're disciplined. They look better in the O-line. Pretty damn good stuff. I mean, it really, really looks good. Really does. Sean says, Sills, will you keep your word and hang a Hurts jersey on the wall if he throws for 4,000 yards? I will. I will. Sirianni doesn't look like chicken parm. He'd rather have meatball parmesan. Thank you very much, Maniac. So would I. New York is a shocker this year. Rage, both teams, right? Jets and Giants, man. Look at the job that the GM has done in New York, and look at what's gone on in New York with the Giants. It's been remarkable. I mean, I can't believe that thing has turned around the way it has. Brian Daboll is out. By the way, this would have to go down the line of this. You'd have to think Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator that took over, look at the job that he's doing. He goes into Kansas City. There's no drop-off. Actually, Josh Allen looks better. I'm glad I told Ken Dorsey, don't take the Miami Hurricane offensive coordinating job, because you're going to get some looks to be a head football coach in the NFL. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets the Carolina job. They're looking for that kind of guy. Former player, young, goes by all the analytics. He's one of those guys that's going to work with a front office. You see these guys, Kevin Stefanski, all these young, Nick Siriani. You see all these, Jonathan Gannon. You see all these young guys with limited experience, but yet they go into a place and they know how to use the analytics and they know how to work with the front office. And look at the coaching staff that Sean McDermott. Hey, by the way, did McDermott ever get any look to be the Eagles head football coach? Did he ever get any run at being that guy? He has been fabulous in Buffalo. He's been sensational. Look at the job that he has done since he's taken over. Dude, the Patriots, hey, isn't it funny? The Patriots right now are maybe in a position right now where they're, again, in a Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady kind of situation here with Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi could take Mac Jones's job, which is insane. It's insane what's going on. They actually look pretty good with this guy, Bailey Zappi. We're going to talk about week 6 here in a second. I want to get to Jalen Hurts in this hour too, and I want to get to that. But again, hey, before we go there with Hurts, we talk about money. 11-12 regular season ball games Jalen Hurts has won. That's impressive. It's impressive. For me, 11-12. Okay, regular season games. This kid's doing it. He's doing it. He's winning. He's winning his way, not my way. This is the difference in this conversation. It's not so important how I want him to win. It's important he's winning his way. This here is what's important. They fired McDermott when he was DC. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, he could pick coaches. Okay? He's winning his way. Hurts is not an elite passer, but you know what he's turning himself into? An elite quarterback. When you win 11-12, now, watch this. Kirk Cousins is an elite passer. Is he an elite quarterback? Who would you rather be? Okay? Not everybody's the same. Tom Brady turned himself into being an elite passer. He was never an elite athlete. Not like Aaron Rodgers is 10 times the athleticism, and he's 10 times the arm talent and passer that Brady ever was. Brady made himself into that guy. Hard work, determination, dedication, film study, and everything. All of it. That's how he made himself Tom Brady. Okay? Ty says this, I'm getting a little scared with all the injuries to the O-line. Hey, Ty, never come from a place of fear. You're the freaking Eagles. You got the best O-line coach in the league. Don't fear that. Go out and play the game. You want to be worried about shit like that. That's wasted time. Okay? That's stuff that makes you sit in a room. It can make your hair fall out. There's so many other things to worry about. Special teams. Okay? Special teams. Your DC. That soft-ass stuff in the second half. So many more things to worry about than what may happen. Now, look, I'm not saying that you don't prepare for it. May happen. But Howie has implemented all these things that could happen. Andre Dillard's coming back. Get this. Jack Driscoll is getting a offensive lineman's degree right now at being this. Play left guard or left tackle, play right guard. Maybe he's got to play a little left guard. Do you know how valuable that is? Look at what you're doing for Jack Driscoll. You're now turning this guy into Mariano Rivera. He can play anything. He's your reliever, top reliever. Then when Dillard comes back, you got Dillard and Driscoll. Hang in there. This guy will get it right because he has. Okay? Because he has. See what Nicholas said. Yes, he's average but has versatility. Hey, Nicholas, get this. You're right. He may not be the best left offensive tackle or the best right guard, but I'll tell you what. Isn't it cool to have a guy that can play all three positions? Right guard, left tackle. Should probably play right tackle. Right? That is a massive asset to have. It's a massive asset. Evans goes, fools that call Jalen a running back are absolute clowns. He was a year ago. 3,100 yards. He was a better runner a year ago. That's changing. Dude, don't try to rewrite history and revise it and make it sound like he was some elite passer last year. This guy had 16 touchdown passes. That's not elite. 3,100 yards is not elite. In 15 or 16 games. That's not elite. He's turning himself into that. You're making it sound like you're revising history. 6 games. His 6 games this year do not look anything near the 6 games a year ago. And don't make it sound like it was. And stop pretending that you like to pick. I could go like this with each and every single one of you right now. You're lying if you say you didn't. That you hated the pick when he was a second rounder and the Eagles took him. Stop lying. That all of a sudden now you're some Jalen Hurts pom-pom waver when you hated the pick and you take shots at what I'm saying about him. You're an absolute liar. Nobody liked the pick. Nobody. Okay? Who said something about Troy Aikman? That's more than – you know what Aikman did? Aikman's playing the game the same way Jalen did. Didn't really put up big offensive numbers. He just handed the ball to Emmett. Threw the ball to Michael on third down. Gee, what's different in the Eagle offense? Jalen might not throw for 25 touchdowns this year. He's got 6. Okay? He's got 6. He's on pace for 16 TDs. 17. Okay? But he plays like a little like Aikman. Okay? I love the pick. I copped the number 2 Hurts Eagles jersey. Shrimp Wentz. Dude, Carson Wentz. Did he lose his job yet? Has he lost his job yet in Washington? Hall of Famer. Yeah. Yeah, Dominico's up pace for 4,000 passing yards with 155 last night and whatever he did last week. You're right, Dominique. I'm sure that'll keep up with 16 touchdowns. Be the only guy in the history of the NFL with 16 touchdowns and 4,000 passing yards. Okay? Oh, yeah, I know that you didn't. Watch this. Here's a guy here. David, I never hated the pick. I always thought he was good. Okay, yeah, I know. You're probably in the minority. Yeah. I like the – oh, yeah, everybody likes the pick now. Really? That's not what I heard back in the day. There wasn't a person in Philly who was on the air even liked it. When Wentz was there and they took Hurts in the second pick. Really? Now we got all these, I liked it. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Okay. Whatever, people. Classic Classic, that's what social media is. And that's what social media has done to our society. We like to revise history, and they think because if you knock a statue down, that changes Columbus Day. Whatever, dude. If we knock Wentz down and, we love Jalen. Yeah, right. Okay. Sure you did. All right. Most important question. Most important. By the way, this Jalen Hurts pick may eventually turn into be Howie Roseman's greatest pick, including Jason Kelce and some of these other dudes. It may be his greatest pick. Don't forget Gary Cobb, bottom of the hour from Fox 29. We'll get his take as they head into the bye. What is the one metric? Here, I'll tell you what I'll do. I won't throw mine out until you throw yours out. What's the one metric you think that you can use right now to pay Jalen the money that you want? We'll figure out what that is. What is the one thing that Clutch Sports is going to come to the table with when they're talking to Howie Rose and they're talking to Jeffrey Lurie? We're in the bye now. It's 6-0. You just beat Dallas. What's the one metric? I'm trying to figure it out. Help me. What is the one metric that you can use? Winning? Well, there's guys that win in the league and they don't get paid big money. Okay? Winning. It's got to be part of it. His versatility? Leadership. Okay. Winning, versatility, leadership. Hurts takes a team deal. He's not taking a team deal. He is not taking a team deal. Stop thinking because he's an Eagle, he's going to take a team deal. He's not. Clutch Sports does not take team deals. Nobody in their mind would ever think that Clutch Sports is going to walk in there and go, what are you guys looking at? You put a number down, we're good at it. That is stupidity. Plus, he's a running quarterback. Hey, and I'll make this point to you too, and I tweeted this out about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, when he beat the Chiefs over the weekend, that dude's got to stop that shit. He ain't lasting. As great as he is, you need to stop that shit. Or you're going to have an ended career before Jalen even has that. Because you are taking too many unwanted hits. And Buffalo needs to fix that shit before they lose a franchise quarterback. Okay? He should take a team deal if he wants to win. Dan, I agree. That's what Brady did. Okay? That's what Brady did. I agree. G says, Sills, I've been telling you about Josh. Dude, he was really reckless in that Chiefs game. Those runs down the sideline, you got to stop that shit, guy. You have got to stop that. Or you're not going to make the season. Shit, I'm talking about Jalen Hurts getting banged up. This guy here is reckless. He plays like Andrew Luck. This guy's like Andrew Luck, and he's getting beat up. And I'm telling you, I don't know. You need to come up with a way of protecting that guy a tad bit more, or there's going to be problems in Buffalo. They lose that guy, it is over. Jalen's playing on the cheap now. Okay, yeah, he's making $1.4 million. The guy at Alabama who's hurt, Bryce Young. By the way, I get it. Vols is a big win. Hey, watch this. Huge win for the Vols. Alabama will pick themselves up and end up getting into the playoff. I got them fifth. I still put them fifth. Okay? Fifth. Michigan. Hey, watch this. Real quick, and I'll get back to the money here and what we're talking about with Jalen. If you had Michigan lined up against Alabama with Bryce Young playing, what would the point spread be? 21? 20? What would the point spread be? That's all you need to know about the next guys in the next tier of teams. There's no team from the Big Ten that would be any closer than 20-point dog to Alabama right now, even losing to the Vols. Josh Allen is Carson Wentz. What an idiot comment. He goes into Kansas City and beats Patrick Mahomes, and he's Carson Wentz. How dumb can you be? 6-0. We're going to get back to this conversation. But I'll tell you what, man, it was a benchmark game, and it was without a doubt, it was a statement game for Jalen. And when you look at the numbers, like I said, they're not exceptional numbers, but you know what they did? Two most important numbers in this ball game. The Cowboys had 10 penalties for 72 yards, and the Cowboys had 3 turnovers. They made the Cowboys have to have Cooper Rush win that game. Perfect game plan. He can't. I'm not saying Dak would have beat the Eagles. We could get him a better chance. Let's get to our friend from Fox 29, Gary Cobb, and get Gary's thoughts here on this. Eagles now 6-0, Gary. And G. Cobb, I got to say, man, I mean, they weren't exceptional offensive statistics last night, held under 300 yards of total offense, but they didn't have to be, right? Give me your takeaways from last night's game.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing you got to give credit to is, Dallas has got an outstanding defense. I mean, you got to give that to them. I mean, when it comes to speed to the quarterback, man, they do not give you a lot of time. I mean, they are coming off that corner. So you can see the speed of their defense, of the pass rushers and everything. But the big thing, I think you hit it on the head. Look, it's about winning. And if you want to win as a quarterback, you can't turn the ball over. It's the number one stat next to the score of the game that causes you to lose is turning that football over. And that's one thing that Cooper Rush, he hadn't done that. But they got 3 of them. They got 3, and really that was the key. That set up easy scores, and it really put the Cowboys defense with their backup, it put them in a bad situation. And I will say this, though, you had 2 good football teams out there playing. And when you have two good football teams playing, it's not just one team just dominates the other team. Both teams have times where they take over the game. And I will give them credit. That was a good game. And I thought that, Jalen, the thing about him, man, he doesn't just talk it, he plays it, which is, I'm keeping my head. I'm not going to be getting crazy, because there are times, they're coming after him. A quarterback can let that, that can get to you. And the way you start throwing the ball, you start being careless. You get to where you just get frustrated. I mean, you see all the time with Kyler Murray, you see the difference in the 2 quarterbacks. Dude is making all these motions and showing up his wide receivers like every time it's incompletion. Of course, it's their fault. He's doing that's nonsense. You don't show your guys up like that. And, Jalen is a leader, and he kept his head. He did not panic. He didn't start taking chances. Careful with the football, smart with the football, and they were able to, put that game away with that drive. Now, with it all on the line, man, hey, look at the drive they put together there.
No, I thought that was sensational.
I mean, that's winning football. That's championship football. When you against that defense, you put it together, you drive it down, and you stick it in the end zone on them. Come on.
Yeah, no, they ran him. I thought they ran him off the clock. They ran him off the field too. Yep. You know what I love what they're doing with this customized RPO offense for Jalen is that, you know what, Gary, tell me if you see the same observation. On 3rd down and 7 or 8, man, they're staying away from the high percentage turnover play. They're not going to chuck it 45. Brady made a career out of doing this. He stayed away from the high percentage turnover play. That's why when they say to him, hey, if you don't see it, take off. I mean, he breaks people down and the edge is down. Teams can't set the edge on this guy. And to me, like you said, 3 turnovers versus no turnovers. He plays no turnover football because fundamentally they stay away from that high turnover play. Do you agree with that, what you're seeing?
Yes, and I got to give them credit also with the way that they ran a couple times, they're running a play where they put Micah Parsons in a position where he is the guy that they're reading, so he can't be as aggressive because whichever way you go, you're wrong. So they're coming out. They got Jalen's coming out there with the ball, and he got AJ out there in the flat, just dump it over his head. And they got him in a position where they're utilizing his aggressiveness against them, where you're running an option on their best player. And I think that was excellent. And you saw where they had certain things designed where they went for it on fourth down, where he's chunking the ball to AJ, who's wide. I mean, not a little open, wide open. It's like, two kids playing in the backyard. That kind of design where they knew, hey, anytime we want this, we can take this, 5-10 yards is ours. So you got to give the coaches credit, for that design. But I look back, man, Jalen talks this way, and you could, a lot of guys talk it. But when you go out and you play it, you show the same discipline to where the other guys on the team, they got to say, I don't care how old he is. He's a young guy. And for them to say, you know what? This dude is our leader, man. This dude is our leader. He goes out there and he doesn't just talk it. He goes out there and does it. And they see the way he's improved. I mean, he's just become a much better player with the way that he can roll to his left and throw. He's accurate with the throw. And he's able to, get situations where he's making the proper read. It's like they're just taking easy money, man. As a defense, you got to be, oh, man, dog. And they got you in a situation where whatever you decide to do, you are wrong, and that's the design of the whole thing with the offense, with that option offense, what they do. And I got to give, the line credit. The offensive line was banged up. A lot of those guys, they got some injuries in there. It's going to be great that they're able to take a week off. But this is the way the NFL is, which is, somebody's got to go in there and play hurt.
No, the whole unit there, Gary.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about. I'm going to go back and ask you the same question I asked you a couple weeks ago. I was telling everybody here, Jack Driscoll may not be the best left tackle, the best left guard, or the best right guard, or right tackle for that matter.
Yeah.
But his experience that he's getting right now at being versatile, this as well as I do. The more you could do in the league, it makes it more so you could stay in the league. And the more you can do that, now you get Andre Dillard back too.
Yeah.
Now you're going to be deeper, like you said, with the bye here. So is this offensive line, in your opinion, look when they need to run the ball on a 13-play drive, they go do it. When they need to pass, they do it.
Yep.
Is this line better? I think this line may be better than that 17 line. You saw it up close and personal. Is it?
Yeah, I think they could be. I think they definitely could be. Now they're doing a lot of things similar, which is, they had, a Big Peters went down, and I forget his name right offhand, but I think I'm not sure who he's playing with now. But anyway, they had a left tackle step in there and do the job. I mean, with everything on the line. So that's a lot to ask, but they're doing it right now. I mean, if you what to say, the coach always say, if you're looking for sympathy, you can find it in the dictionary. If nobody's feeling sorry for you, get in there, do your job. If we send you out there and look, if you got a uniform on, it's because we think you can play. Okay? That's why you got the uniform on. So no apologies, because nobody's making no apologies to you. So we don't need to hear it. We don't need to hear excuses and this. Go out there and do your job. And that's what they did. And, that's the way the NFL is. I mean, that's the great thing about the game, which is, when what time is the game? At 4 o'clock? Be ready at 4 o'clock, because whatever happens then. If you can't do it then, we don't want to hear the excuses, okay? And that's the way they play. And that's why those guys went out there. They stepped up. And with that game on the line, when they go out there in that fourth quarter, Dallas is on their heels. Dallas has taken over the game. They got the momentum, everything. And the crowd, what can they do but sit there and watch? Dallas is coming back. They just marched for 2 scores. The defense is putting pressure on Hurts. What can you do? They said, you know what? We're going to bring an extra tight end. You know what? We're running the ball down your throat. Oh, no, we're running the ball down your throat, and we're going to execute when we need to. We got these other plays here we're going to run when we need it. and we're going down and we're scoring. That's championship football. If you can do that, you can win against the best teams in the league. And that's what they did. And that was great. That was in front of everybody. With them having lost, they had lost control of that game. The Cowboys had taken control, but then they said, You know what? We want this game more than you, and we are running this ball down your throat.
I sure did too, Gary, like you said there.
Yeah.
Gary, what have you been more impressed with defensively? The cornerback play or the front seven?
Well, last night, doggone, it was the corners, man. I mean, last night, golly.
Dude, that CJ can play.
He can play. He can play, man. He can play. And because what you've got is you really got a guy who's really got cornerback skills. And he's playing safety, see. That's what they got. And I mean, it was a great move that they made bringing him on because the kid is just a great athlete. And, he's got the willingness to come up and tackle people because that's what you got to have at the safety position. But the big thing, and then you had Slay basically running the route. I guess it was Gallup. He ran his route for him to get that interception. And Bradbury, man, dude is playing, man. He must have knocked down 5 or 10 balls. I mean, golly. Yeah, that was just some outstanding play. And then I got to give Dallas credit for battling back. They made a game of it, but doggone it, the plays they made, it was a good game. It was a game where you saw two teams that wanted it, and that's what you expect in that situation because they know they're battling for things, but it's still early. We know that we're gonna see those guys again. So
and probably with Dak, probably as a starting quarterback. Right. Gary, what does a game like that mean for the team, and most notably for Jalen Hurts?
Well, it's another step when you talking about building a championship team. See, this is, when you go out and you're playing against teams when it's on the line and you can say, okay, well, you can just step it up, doggone, we're taking this. And you can do that with it on the line. I mean, that's great. Offenses do that. The great offenses in the past, they were able to do that. When we got to have a score, we're going down here and we're going to take back over this game. And that's what they did on that drive, and that's the thing that if you can do that against the best, and they're one of the best defenses in the league, and they did that against them. They knew what was on the line, and they couldn't stop them. They even though they had taken over the game, because a lot of times momentum, like once you lose it, man, it's hard to get back. But they went out there and they took back over the momentum with everything going the Cowboys' way. That's why all the Cowboys can do is get on the plane, man. We don't want to hear it. How about no? There's nothing else to say. All those guys on the defense, and they got some great players over there. There's nothing else to say. I mean, they drove with the game on the line. They drove the ball down their throat and scored.
Gary, how about this? Let me go here with this one here. I mean, there's no question here. When you're looking at what this team has accomplished here at 6-0, how do you temper what the success has happened now? Because learning to win also, you've got to now, you're going into a bye. You're going to hear how great you are, great things are right now. Siriani is pumping his chest. By the way, he's got to be considered the coach of the year so far, at least going into his bye. How do you think, again, the leaders on the football team would go, hey, we're 1-0 this week, or, all the cliches that, how do you handle success?
That's what they have got to not only say it, but they got to live it. Because, come on, it's just 6 games in. They don't give out any trophies after 6 games. They don't give out any championships. So, they got to be serious about it, meaning that they can't just be talking it to the mics when they get interviewed. No, it's got to be serious because these other teams like Dallas, come on, they're going to get better because when you get your butt whooped, you go back, you look in the mirror. That's what they're going to do, and they're going to go, we need to get better. We need to get better. Now, it wasn't a blowout game; it was a close game. So they know, hey, look, we weren't playing with our starting quarterback. We think we can get better. Okay, chances are they will be better the next time. So the Eagles got to realize, look, man, we haven't won anything. We got all these games to play, And a lot of these teams, you know, that are not there right now, meaning like the Eagles have started off and have played at a higher level. You know, some of the teams are going to get in a groove, and they got teams that have won championships that are in their conference. So those teams are going to be there at the end. You know, they might not be playing their best football now, but some of them, they know what it's like to win a Super Bowl title. So they're going to see those teams down the road. So if they start celebrating, they will wind up losing the biggest games. So there's
Gary,
no
I'll tell
time
you
for any celebrating. Yeah.
Your point, I mean, think about this. Man, the Rams look like they're in shambles.
Look
the
bad.
49ers lose.
Yep.
The Bucks go into a place where the Steelers only had one win.
Yes.
And they look terrible. I mean, their red zone offense, they couldn't get it in from 1 yard with Tom Brady, one of the best fourth down and one quarterbacks on quarterback sneaks. They couldn't get it in. And here are the Eagles playing and doing things. Like you said, I mean, dude, they didn't have to throw for 355 yards against the Cowboys because they made Cooper Rush try to win the ball game.
That's right.
They played non-high turnover football.
Yep.
I mean, they're just systematically going about it. I'm going to say this about Jalen, and tell me if you agree. I don't think that Jalen will ever be an elite passer, okay? He's got 6 touchdowns. However, he's going to be an elite quarterback because, again, look at these 6 wins, Gary. From Detroit to Minnesota to the Jags, every game has been different. Every game has had their own chapter in this 17-game book of a season for these guys. And to me, that makes you hard to defend, doesn't it? Because it's like a chameleon. You don't know how to defend it or game plan against them.
Well, they have so many weapons, and that's.
Am I right when I see that?
Yes, I think you're right. I mean, I think with this team, the one thing about them, man, is every area they got people that can show up and take over a game and win a game. I mean, you look at Goddard; he can have a game where 180 yards. What? You're not shocked because he's that good of a tight end. You look at A.J. Brown and you look at Devontae Smith. They've all had times where they took over the game, and nobody's shocked. The guy's that good of a player. So you got these different types of talents on the team. So you know that wherever we need to go, we can win the game with this guy or we can win the game with that guy. That really puts a lot of pressure on a defense because most of the time you go into a game, you go, we got to take away this guy. You can't really do that with the Eagles. I mean, because Devontae, you could take away A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith can put up 180, 200-yard game. And nobody's shocked because he's that good. You know how good A.J. Brown is, and I mentioned Goddard. And then with way Miles Sanders is playing, who's a tremendous talent. It just seems like he's grown into that talent.
You think he's underappreciated, Miles Sanders?
I think he is because, you know, he hasn't done it for a long time. But I think that he clearly has the talent. I mean, he's got the speeds and strength and athletic ability of the best backs in the league. It's just a matter of him having the focus where he takes care of the football, where he's smart about, you know, the blitz pickup and all that type of thing. But he's grown into that and he's playing on that level. And that's why this team, they haven't played their best football. They have not played their best football. And that's the thing that really is the
Gary, does it concern you that they don't really put teams to sleep in the second half, so to speak? I mean, is that a concern that they get a lead, and then here's Gannon, and here's my point.
Yeah.
Gannon will do this. He'll be really decent in the first half. Teams go in, make their adjustments. Then what he does is he sits back in that zone. The good quarterbacks and teams find the open space in that zone. And that's why teams are able to kind of crawl back and get into ball games against the Eagles. Then they go on, like you said, then they go on a 13-play drive, and then they run you off the clock. I mean, does that concern you, though, that style?
It definitely does because, you know, the best teams have killer instinct. You know, they get rid of you. They don't let you hang around, you know. They put you to sleep where, you know, it's time where, look, we might as well go get back on the bus. Yeah. That's the way the good teams do. And, you know, they got to develop that. That's something that's been missing. And it's a key element because, you know, if you let people come back, they will come back. And you've seen they've had bad teams that have come back against them. Come on. So that is the one weakness that you identified is the biggest problem that you see that's still there, which is you can't just go to sleep. You don't have, you got to play the entire game. You can't just go to sleep and let people climb back in it. And they've done it. Come on, they've just made a habit of it. It's the one thing that's a glaring error that they've had. It's glaring because it's been so ugly because you've let teams that are not even that good do it. I mean, you let Arizona do it. Arizona's not come on, they're not a good team right now.
Lions.
The Lions did it. I mean, that's the one thing. It's an ugly sore there. And it's happened game after game. And that's the one thing they need to be talking about because they got to clean that up, man. They do come out and jump on people, which you love that. But then they go to sleep for a while.
Hey, Gary, finally.
Yeah.
Hurts has won 11 of 12 regular season ball games. His last 12 ball games, he's 11-1. And at the end of the year, there's going to have to be a serious conversation with Clutch Sports on what you're doing with him. And to me, again, he's not Josh Allen. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not some of these other, passing type guys. I mean, look, the guy in Buffalo has 20 passing touchdowns already. Jalen's got 6. Most people are gauged on being an elite pocket passer, okay? He's not.
Yeah.
What's the one metric you would use if you were Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, when you sit down with his agent at the end of the year, and they go to the Eagle management and say, winning here has to matter. But then I go, Jimmy Garoppolo is 41 and 17 and 19. He don't get paid a king's ransom.
That's right.
What's the one thing you look at with him? Is it just an overall bunch of things that they have to put together and make it sound like a great package? Because I can't put my finger on what's this. A running quarterback? Well, I don't want Josh Allen running the way he did. He was getting killed in that Kansas City game.
Yeah.
He ain't making the year if he continues that.
Yeah, he can't keep playing like
Andrew
that.
Luck.
That's right.
How do you put a metric on him? What's the biggest asset he has that is going to be the most valuable asset?
Well, the biggest thing that sticks out, I think, is he's mature beyond his years. I think that's the big thing, because, and then, of course, he's got the athleticism and he's gotten better as a thrower. But, he's not where he has this unbelievable arm talent. That's not there when you look at Josh Allen and see him throw the ball and everything. But the thing you see with him that sticks out is the leadership qualities. I mean, he's got that. And so I think, I'm going to go to him and I'm going to talk to him about Tom. If I'm negotiating with him, hey, let's talk about, you want to win, don't you? You want to win, don't you, Jalen? Yeah, I do want to win. So we want to give you a deal. We want you here. We want to commit to you and everything. But we want to have people with you now. And we want to win. We don't want to just be out there playing where, we want to try to win. So we want to have the best talent with you because that's going to make you the best quarterback. And, you're going to talk to him on that level. Now, you're going to have to give him some money. I mean, 35, you would, hey, if you would go for the 35. I think that's meeting in the middle.
35? I tell you what, if he took a $35 million a year deal, I would guarantee the whole damn thing for 3 years. And I would guarantee him that.
It would be like 35, 40, 45, it would have to be up like that. But, you would talk to him about that. Now, we'll see what he's going to take, because that's going to be the type of thing where you want to have the talent around him. He wants to have the talent around him. And, and then, of course, looking at what everybody's making, I mean, it surely doesn't help when you got, Kyler Murray got some money he's making and everything. But
I'd take Jalen over Kyler Murray all night long, all day long.
Without a doubt. Now,
and that kid's getting 46-1.
35, 40, 45, 50. Man, the money's out there. So that,
but your point is this, because then you go like this. Well, here's one thing, Jalen. If we give you the $45 million, we can't keep AJ.
Hey, there's going to be somebody. I mean,
somebody goes.
You might be able to, you might hang on to AJ, but Devontae's gonna walk then.
Yeah, when this
thing
right.
comes up, you're gonna go, look, we can't keep everybody.
That's right. When his bell rings, he's gonna want money.
And he's going to earn it. I mean, you look at the numbers he's going to have, he's going to be able to make argument. And you want to be able to keep as many people as you can. And that's the thing, because he is a team guy. And like I said, you look at the guy got all these rings, the one with all the rings.
Yep.
He sacrificed.
He gave money back.
He's got the rings. A lot of these other guys, they might have make an extra 5 million, 10 million, but they don't have the rings, man. They do not have the rings. And then you look at these teams, man, see the way some of these teams are falling apart. I mean, the Packers, well, like, wow.
Hey, Gary, they don't even look like the same.
They do not look like the same team. I mean, clearly, you see that how much he misses a guy who they were on the same
Devontae
level.
Adams.
And Adams, man, he misses him. He misses him severely. Does not look, even though they wear the same uniforms, it's not the same football team.
Even he's struggling in Las Vegas. Gary, we got to roll. It has been awesome, man. And I'll tell you what, a much-deserved break when it comes to the Eagles going into their bye. It's been an amazing run so far to watch here, man. I appreciate it so much, my friend. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You got it, man. Unbelievable stuff going on right now with Jalen Hurts. Really, I mean, the money is going to be a great conversation at the end of the day here. Guys, don't forget, Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. I tell you this, they don't get paid unless you do. That's what that means. If you're hurt or injured on the job, the number one place that you go to is Morgan & Morgan. Folks, with over 800 attorneys and offices in Philly, New York, and in Florida. For the people is not a slogan. This is who they are, and there is no case too small for them to defend you and your family. Last 30 years, they defended it to the tune of $13.5 billion. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation is free. 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Many times when people are injured at a place of business, they don't realize they may have a case. The fact is, injuries should not happen. And most of the time when someone is injured, someone is at fault. Maybe the store manager installed a cheap, slippery floor, or there wasn't proper security. After an injury at a hotel, restaurant, store, or any place of business, it's so important to call us. Time matters, size matters. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says, yes, you can. Jeff says, yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says, yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say, no, you can't, Jeff says, yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Big Silk National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard. Guys, I got to tell you, man, Philly D, you're right. Eagles, Bills, KC. Name one effing team in the NFC that's better. I can't right now. Okay, I can't. I think there is a lot of football teams out there right now where you would go like this. Dude, the Rams. I told you this at the beginning of the year. I said, I don't think the Rams are going to make the playoffs. I don't see the talent on the football team that they had a year ago. The offensive line, I say this to you. You want to hear something crazy? I think the Rams may have the second worst offensive line in the NFC to Washington. That thing looks terrible. Aaron Donald is getting blown off the ball. Okay, he's getting blown off the ball. Jalen Ramsey's getting torched. All the money that the Packers have spent, okay, on that defense, that's one of the biggest letdowns, too, also in Green Bay. Sydney, losing Lane was big. I thought it was a concussion. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I thought it was concussion protocol, okay? I thought it was concussion protocol right now. Yeah, I would say this in the MVP conversation. I think it goes Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Jalen. I think it's those three dudes. I think it's those three guys right now, okay, that are in the conversation for the most valuable player. I would think so. Okay? By the way, top of the hour, we're going to look at week 6. Some telling games, and it's also going to tell us a little bit more about where you see the Eagles in the NFC when you hear some of the storylines that have actually come out. I'll tell you, the one thing that you could say about the NFL compared to any other sport, you couldn't do this. Thank you, Isaiah. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. One thing you could say, watch this. In the NBA, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, the Suns, okay, the Clippers. These are all teams that might fight for an NBA championship. In the NFL, right now, you're like, hey, let's do something Gary Cobb said too. Last 2 years, we've seen this. 2 years ago, the Steelers got out to an 11-0 start, and they putted down the line and were knocked out in the playoffs. Last year, Kyler Murray and that Cardinal team got out to a 7-0 start. Dude, you think you're peaking a tad bit too soon? I don't, because the way they're playing. But injuries can change a dynamic anytime. You can't lose Kelsey. You can't lose Mulata or Lane. You can't. You cannot lose them. That would be, again, a disaster. You can't lose one of those corners. You lose one of those corners, your defense loses 25% of its effectiveness on third down if you lose one of those corners. Now, what Howie did is slick. Put CJ in the safety position. You could slide him right over the corner. He's a good football player. By the way, that's a guy I want part of my future. Okay? That is the guy I want part of my future. 007 says, Dynasty, you ain't won shit yet. You won 6 games. Relax. Dynasty. Run through the tape first. Then you start talking Dynasty. Win 1 first with this group. Win 1 first. Before you start talking Dynasty, win 1. Okay? You got to run through the tape before you can start the word dynasty. Okay, you haven't even won the NFC East yet. Relax, you got the lead. That doesn't mean you've won it. No one's better right now. Let's see if it finishes that way. We've seen so many storylines in the NFL over the years where teams play so well early and fade. And most of the times, the great teams are the teams that play great late. Not early, late. You're ramping up as you get into November, December, and January to get a shot at playing in February. Okay? Now the football even gets more serious because now, guess what the Eagles are fighting for? You're fighting for home field advantage. Boy, can you imagine this? Can you imagine, and I said this to you, the reason why I think that 2017 Philadelphia Eagle team ended up winning the Super Bowl, because the NFC playoffs went through Broad Street. It went through Broad Street. If you were going to win the Super Bowl, you had to go through Philly. That's exactly what you want to have now. You want to have it. You want to have it right now run through Philly. Okay? GT says something interesting here. Do you think we exposed the Dallas defense? Well, again, I mean, I don't think 26 points is that awful, and holding the Eagles to 268 total yards is bad. I mean, they held the Eagles to 268 total yards. Wasn't like the Eagles put up 450 yards on them. The 26 points is a little high, GT. But the 268, you held the 6-0 team under 300 yards of total offense? I don't know, exposed? Does only surrendering 268 yards of total offense expose when the offense on the Cowboys gave up 3 turnovers? I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're decent. I think they're good. I think they're good on Dallas. 85 says, need 6 more wins to get home field, Dan. 12 wins, you think does it? Probably. Blueprint to beat Parsons? Run at him. Said it on Friday to you. Run at him. Did you see him not handle it? Run at him. It's exactly what they did. They ran the ball at him. Don't run away from him. Don't get into 3rd and longs. Run at him. And to me, I think they made him not effective until Lane went out. And when Lane went out, yeah, he's going to have his way with Jack Driscoll. He's going to have his way with Jack Driscoll. Why they couldn't stop us then? Again, like I said, I mean, the Eagles are better. GT. I told you that in every area in that game on Sunday, except for the 2 edge rushers and the group of corners that the Eagles have, you guys are better. Okay? That's going to, I tell you what, Dallas, after watching what they did to them in Philly, Dallas is going to be ready to roll for Christmas Eve. That's going to be an even better game, I think, in Dallas. Mr. International, Dan, that was a great game. It was a well-thought-out game, and I thought the Eagles did everything right. No turnovers, ran the ball when they needed effectively, that drive at the end of the ball game, and the systematic running at Parsons was a key essential part of winning that game. I don't know why everyone is so impressed with Sanders. Gainwell was far more impressive to me in his small sample size. Cal, Gainwell's a good player, but Sanders is on pace right now for 1,400 yards. He's having a really good year. Okay, he's having a really good year, man, and he's effective. GT, do you think Dallas haven't played a defense like ours yet? No. with the corners the way they're playing. Guys, I got to take a timeout. Hour 3, let's take a look at week 6 of the NFL. We'll talk more where the Eagles fit in to the whole league, not just the NFC, okay? Please hit the like button. Hour 3, keep it here on National Football Show.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the steaks and the steaks. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says, yes, you can. Jeff says, yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says, yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say, no, you can't, Jeff says, yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Hour 3, National Football Show. It's your boy, Big Sills. Please hit the like button before I get into week 6 of the NFL. We'll reset everything, too, from last night's big game, big win for the Eagles, 26-17. Guys, I had the craziest weekend you'll ever hear in your life. We went to go watch my daughter play rugby in Phoenix. We got back to our house. We're going to take our rental car back the next day. And somebody robbed it in my driveway, came back, went into my garage and stole some stuff like equipment and shit like this while we were sleeping. Incredible. The guy took the rental car. It's not our car, but he ransacked. I mean, what a weekend. Last 48 hours has been unbelievable. So I'm just glad they didn't come into the house. Well, then again, I told my wife this. You know that scene from A Bronx Tale? Hey, you know that scene from Bronx Tale, Now's You Can't Leave? I told my wife this. Hey, Carson, I told my wife this. I wish they came in because Now's You Can't Leave. And there's a desert out there on the way to Phoenix. Trust me, I would have had a beer, a Corona, and a burger and not thought twice about it if you came into the house. Yeah. I would have, oh my God. Oh, it was crazy. We went and told the rent-a-car people today, Paul, they all they didn't do, Paul, was come into the house. They came into the garage. They picked up some stupid shit, though. I don't care. I mean, I did some stuff that was in there. Hunter Biden laptop. No, I had some old laptops in there that didn't work and shit like that. So, hey, Carson Pesci, and when he got taken out to the cornfield, yeah, right, and they threw him in the ditch. Yeah, something resembling that. Thank you, Joshua. It's all good, man. My wife made me park my Hummer down at the bottom of the hill. So, anyway, hey, and by the way, all this going on. And I'm watching the Eagles, and you know what? I'm watching a football game last night. It was the biggest identity game that they have had in 2 years. It really set the tone for what is going to be, I think, a really great story here in the finish here. Okay? Hey, Krause goes like this. Does JAKIB need to send additional security for a big sales mansion? Haters are out there in force. Well, what we didn't like was they came back twice. And I told my wife and everyone, do I look like I can? Things are all right here, Yeah. My wife's like, well, yeah, she was very upset. She was very upset. And I said, well, the Eagles sent an identity. Big Sills has one too. I'm a nice guy today. I try not to get in any kind of aggravation that will take the old Sills for me to have to break glass. 166-0. I'm the heavyweight champion of the world for a reason. Okay? I'm a nice guy now, man. I'm a nice guy. I'm fat. I'm out of shape. So I'm not coming with just my dukes. Okay? Be prepared. And I have no problem doing whatever it takes to win. Kind of like your Eagles. Okay? I have no problem picking a chair, a knife, whatever you want. I'm there. I'm ready to roll. Hey, Gigi, I don't need a shotgun. Trust me. I'm good. All right, let's reset this. Thank you guys for your concern, man. Yeah, people in the world are worms. It's all good, man. Hey, by the way, we have video from the people across the street showing these guys come up our driveway twice. My wife was very upset about that, and that bugged me when she was upset. I'm not upset because those people don't scare me, okay? I know a ton of people like that, okay? So I'm like, my wife was upset when she saw they came back. I went, I got it. Then she saw the footprints around the house. Because you know what Big Sills does? We cook out. Big Sills puts soot around so I could see footprints in case anybody's trolling around me. And we saw it, and my wife goes, that is so smart. I can't believe you did that. So I put little, ashes. You don't see them. It's not. But you can see footprints, and it matches footprints. Then I go, yeah. All right. Got to reset here. By the way, once again, my takeaways from last night's 26-17 win, okay? As I said, run the ball at Micah Parsons, and what else? Make Cooper Rush beat you. He couldn't do it. We knew that, though. So did the Eagle coaches. By the way, Eagle coaches, kudos. You outcoached that Dallas Cowboy, including Dan Quinn. I thought Dan brought him back in, though. Made halftime adjustments. And again, too, I happen to think that Jonathan Gannon got a little soft in those coverages in the second half. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. The Cowboys had the game back down to 20-17. It could have seesawed back and forth, but then that 13-play drive at the end of the ball game is what really did the Cowboys in. Okay? So it was so well smart of a thought-out football game plan that the Eagles had in this game. I thought Jalen Hurts was masterful, as I said in the first hour. He didn't throw for a ton of yards, but that RPO offense that he runs, it is the most unique offense potentially in the league. Okay? It is. You know, I'll tell you something else. Would you guys agree with this? There's only one other quarterback in the league that you could compare Jalen Hurts to, and that's Lamar. Lamar doesn't have the assets around him that Jalen does. There's no A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in Baltimore. Shit, there's not even a Miles Sanders there. They do have a Dallas Goedert. That tight end in Baltimore, Andrews, is good. He's a fine ball player. But outside of Andrews, who else do they have in Baltimore? He doesn't clearly have the O-line. So Jalen has more assets around him in more ways, which means more ways to win. He doesn't have to throw for 400 yards, 355. He can do exactly what they had under 370 yards in total offense last night. They didn't need a shitload of offense. Because you know why? They don't play high percentage play, turnover plays. It's really smart. And it fits him to a T. And by the way, I don't think he took a beating last night. Not the beating that Josh Allen took in that Kansas City game. Josh Allen, we'll talk about it here in a minute. That dude took a beating in that game to get that win in Kansas City. He really did. Hey, Paul, stupid to trade Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown wanted out. DeAndre Hopkins comes back. I'm assuming the Cardinals will be better. I think the next coach fired is Cliff Kingsbury. You can't give a guy $46.1 million and shit the bed the way they are. You can't. You just can't. The RPOs that they've customized around Jalen have been great. The 3 and outs, there were not a lot, but there were on Dallas' side. And then you had the 3 turnovers with Cooper Rush. Remember what I said? Run the ball at Micah, force Cooper Rush to win the game. That's exactly the game plan that the Eagles had, and they won it that way. Thought it was really a really fine game plan. And a defining ball game. By the numbers now. 22-21 in first downs, pretty even. Now listen where the game's won. Third down, Eagles were 40%. Cowboys 6 of 14. Okay? A little bit higher, about 45%. Total yards, Cowboys had 315. Eagles had 268 yards of total offense. Has to be their lowest output in total offensive yards the entire year so far in the 6 wins. Passing, Cowboys 181, Eagles 131 or 32. Rushing, 136 for the Eagles. Cowboys had 134 yards rushing. Here we come down to the final 2 stats. Penalties. The undisciplined Dallas Cowboys getting stupid penalties and stupid moments. 10 penalties, 72 yards. Those are disasters. You end drives. You end really good plays. When you pick up a critical first down, it's nullified by an illegal procedure penalty or a holding penalty. How dumb can you be in a critical game like that for Dallas when you know you're playing with a backup intern quarterback that can't win? You have 10 penalties. What a dumb for 72 yards. You understand that it's like 3/4 of a football field and field position you surrendered to Dallas. And here's the Eagles. 2 penalties, 10 yards. Man, I could live with that all night long. And here's the critical one. Cooper Rush, 3 turnovers. Eagles, goose egg. It's great. It's great. That's why Jalen's this. 15 completions, 25 attempts, 155, 2 touchdowns. He don't have to do anything. Dallas will shoot themselves in the foot. Cooper Rush, 18 of 38, 181, 1 touchdown. And when he was asked to have to win a game, here it is, exposed. You know, someone asked me if the Cowboy team was exposed. No. Cooper Rush was exposed. 3 interceptions. Zeke was pretty decent. 13 carries, 81 yards, 6.2 a carry. I think they ran the ball a lot better in the second half, especially when they came out of halftime. Miles, 18 for 71 and 1 touchdown, a tick under 4 yards a carry. Man, they just played smart ball, man. They just played smart ball. They didn't. Time of possession, I think, Alexander, if I'm not mistaken, I did not write that down, but I thought they had a 10-minute advantage. Like 34-24, something like that. In time of possession, I think it was like a 9 or 10-minute advantage that the Eagles had because of the sustained drives that they had. Okay. Micah Parsons was the non-factor, and you said he's a game changer. Well, Slasher, I went on Twitter, and he and I got into a back and forth, and I said, you're no Lawrence Taylor. And Slasher, I'm not the only person that has said that. And I got into a back and forth. Just so you know, you can go to Dan Sileo show. You can go at Dan Sileo show. Micah Parsons and I got into a back and forth, and I said Lane Johnson killed you. I said, then you beat up on Jack Driscoll. And I said, you're no Lawrence Taylor. And he got offended by that. So whatever you want to say, Slasher, I defended the Eagles, and I said he got killed. He said, you obviously are a troll, and you don't watch football. Well, I saw you against Lane Johnson, and Lane Johnson crushed you. Then I said, I saw you against Jack Driscoll, and that's where you made your impact plays. He didn't make it against Lane. Lane owned his ass. Lane owned him. And he got offended. And just a note to Micah. Hey, Micah, if you give a shit what Dan Sileo says, you need to concern yourself and put your head down, and you need to rally the troops there because Lawrence Taylor, bro, you're nowhere near that. Don't ever confuse yourself with that. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you're a Dallas Cowboy and you get overhyped. You are no Lawrence Taylor. I don't care what anyone says. Lawrence Taylor in losses was an impact player. There's times when you could put Michael Parsons' name and face on a milk carton. Great players show up every day. They don't just show up when you're going against a lesser foe like Jack Driscoll. No disrespect to Jack. Jack did the best he could in there. Okay? Paul, it's not so much that. I wasn't even really aiming it at him directly. I was talking more about the media. Here, I'll tell you exactly what he said. Then he starts talking shit to me about, I know my birth certificate. I'll send it to you. I said, kid, I think you're a fine ball player. You're taking this wrong. It was more like that kind of stuff. And he got his panties in a bind over it. Well, guess what? Son, I never said that you sucked. I said you got killed. Here, let me read you exactly. Here's what I said exactly. And they're on my Twitter page right there. There's Micah Parsons, Sills. There's a bunch of shit that we've been going back and forth on. I said, remember those stupid sports broadcasters? Micah Parsons is not Lawrence Taylor. That's all I said. I know I'm Micah Parsons. Thanks for the clarification, bro. Just ask and I'll send you my birth certificate. I could tell you just troll Twitter and just agree to what other people say and just don't watch football is what Micah Parsons said. I said this to him. My friend, I think you are a fine player. I was talking more to the media. But at the end of the day, if you want to keep this thing real, quite frankly, Lane Johnson killed you. So don't tell me that I don't defend the Eagle guys. You can go over to my Twitter page and follow it. I got the guy who's going to probably win Defensive Player of the Year worried about what I'm saying. Okay? Hey, man, here's why. You can't be called Lawrence. You guys know how I criticize Jalen. Okay? I criticize Jalen because we're talking about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. You start talking Lawrence Taylor, hey, Micah, you better show up every effing day because he did. That's a game-changing wrecking machine. He was a machine. He destroyed teams and game plans. He punched people in the mouth every game. You all know I'm talking at. You know what I'm talking about because you had a guy like that in your own green uniform, your Kelly Greens, and he was 92. That was another wrecking ball. You can't be a wrecking ball sometimes. That's not a game-changing player. Game-changing players are like, I don't give a shit. You know what made LT so good and Reggie so good? Those guys didn't care what the score was. They were going to kill their guy in front of them and be a wrecking machine and let the score be what it was. Couldn't control. You, as a defensive player, you can't really control the score. Those two guys probably can. But you can't because you don't throw it, you don't catch it, and you don't run with it. But you can kill people with it. And those two guys are the most destructive defensive players I've ever seen and ever watched on film and know personally. I knew both of them personally, Lawrence Taylor and Reggie. God rest his soul. Okay? And when you hear people talking like Bayless, 11 from heaven, I'm like, bro, you're kidding me. You're lucky if you're Pat Swilling. Okay? Pat Swilling he's Ricky Jackson at best. And that's a great player. Okay? 007, that's kind words, man. Thank you. Sileo had no faith in Hurts and the Eagles from the beginning. Really, Eagle fan, I picked you to play the Bills in the Super Bowl, jackass. What do you mean, no faith? Excuse me. In March, I picked the Bills and Eagles in Super Bowl in Glendale. No faith? I've been saying Super Bowl before you, Eagle man. End of story. End of story. End of story. Bills, Eagles, March. Go back and read. Bills, Eagles. I still think that. Okay? Sileo was never an Eagle fan. Never have been. Never. I'm a fan of the fans. You guys have a great fan base, and I told you this. Are you under some impression I said that I'm an Eagle fan? I have never been an Eagle fan in my life. Ever. Where did you come up with that? Or you made that up? I got it. See how people make shit up? He just said Hurts will never throw for 4,000 yards. I did say that, and I still hold to that. Okay? I still hold to that. By the way, here in a couple minutes here, we're going to look at week 6 of the NFL. We're going to get into that. So again, let me ask this question about Jalen Hurts and the conversation. You think they're starting that conversation about money with Jalen's people? Well, they legally can't until after the season. But you know what you could do? You could get on the horn with Clutch Sports and do this. Man, Jalen's playing great. Man, Jalen's playing great. He's really playing great. You know, at the end of the year, when, CBA allows us to have a conversation, we'd like to sit down and talk to you guys about potentially, maybe, what the future looks like. Because you got to be careful here because you don't want to breach a contract and you don't want to violate the bargaining agreement because they'll come back and hold that against you if some of the numbers don't turn out to be what Clutch wants. So, you want to be in the room when you're making these conversations like this. So you want to be as upfront as you can and as transparent as you possibly can. But do you think that they've started to sit here and go like this, started to lay the groundwork here for talking to Jalen Hurts? Carlos, do you see us picking up anybody Special teams. Carlos, special teams. I think that's Howie's probable priority going into the trading deadline on November 1st. Probably special teams. Okay? Because that's an area that has to be upgraded. Now, what position would that affect when it comes to adding people to the roster? That would be a major concern because to me right now, the big thing that they have going for them, they've got a fine rotation on the defensive side, and their offensive line is without a doubt the deepest in the league. Okay? Do you think that they are talking about contract now? I wonder what, and by the way, you could talk internally about what you're going to lay the groundwork for. I'm not saying that he's talking clutch. I wonder how Howie's looking at this right now with Jalen. Because as I was telling Gary, Jalen doesn't have one metric that's $46 million. He doesn't. And winning, there's a lot of guys in the league that win. But they don't get necessarily paid for it. Because you know what people like today? They like the circus. When you watch Josh Allen play, you're paying for a circus or Patrick Mahomes, or you're paying for winning, putting up giant numbers. You're putting on a show. The Eagles really are kind of boring in a way. They're not a high-powered passing offense that puts a lot of points on the board. That's why they don't score a lot of points. Okay? That's why they're not putting a lot of points on the board. In today's NFL, they're not. They're in the high 20s. And the way they play with their offense, okay? Dude, Josh Allen, don't compare Jalen to that. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. It's going to be interesting to see how they put this all together here in the metrics. Rashad says, Sills, I think Hurts would accept 35 to 40 million under the right conditions. And that means winning. You know what, Rashad, what I would do? See what Rage just said? Xander, right? This is kind of what you and I said. I'd offer Hurts $35 million a year for 4 years and 85% of it guaranteed. I like this. I don't know if it's so much important about the yearly number as the guaranteed number. What would you take? Would you take $46 million or $45 million a year for 3 years with an option and 105 guaranteed? Or would you do this? I'll give you $120 million over 3 and guarantee it all. What would you take? Because quite frankly, Jalen doesn't fit in any other offense in the NFL. There's only one team that's built that offense for him. He might fit in Baltimore, or no, he wouldn't fit in Tennessee because he's not the ball carrier there. He would be the second guy to Derrick Henry there. He doesn't really fit. I mean, you're not going to send him to Cincinnati with no O-line. He's got the best O-line in the NFL, and he takes full advantage of it. Rage goes, I would take less per year for more guaranteed. So would I. So would I. Cal says, how does the guaranteed money work with the salary cap per year? Cal, you know what? I'm going to double check because the new CBA has new parameters around it. Nine Lives says, I think Jalen takes lesser money to keep guys around him to make him better. Yeah, but his agency's going to fight him on that. Clutch Sports, dude. Remember, they're not looking for hometown discounts. They're not. They're not looking for hometown discounts here. I'll take $500 a game to hand out water at the link. I like it, Carlos. Hey, right now, so would I. I will sue Clutch Sports myself. Oh. Only number that matters, Paul is right, is the guaranteed cash. That's what makes that Deshaun Watson deal so freaking amazing. Deshaun Watson's got $230 guaranteed $1 million. Holy cow. Right? I think it's going to be incredibly interesting to think how this whole thing works out here. All right. Let's take a look at some of these storylines from week 6. My God. You know, isn't the NFL awesome? The National Football League storylines are so great. I mean, every week you just don't know. And by the way, wait till you hear what we say about some of this. Okay. Hey, are you not rooting for Marcus Mariota? Way to go, dude. They beat the 49ers 28-14. And I hope Marcus Mariota, they won't, though. They'll be looking for a quarterback in the draft. I'm happy for him. I really am happy for him. And they beat the 49ers, one of the teams that's considered one of the better teams in the NFC. What is it? Bailey Zappi? Unbelievable story going on there. Patriots beat the Browns 38-25, 24-34, 309 and 2 touchdowns for Bailey Zappi. Good night almighty. Is that incredible? There's Belichick again finding these quarterbacks. You know what? The best head football coach at evaluating the quarterback position in the entire league is Bill Belichick. Nobody's better. He has drafted starting quarterbacks ever since he's been in New England. It is a remarkable story. Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady, Zappy Bailey, Mac Jones. Look at all these guys. Boy, New England they may miss on wide receivers, but there's not a better talent evaluator, and he's a defensive-minded guy. Andy Reid, really? You think he's put more starters in the NFL than what Belichick has drafted? I don't. Now, Andy may do a better job when it comes to preparing those guys, but I don't know, man. There's a ton of starters in the NFL that Belichick drafted. That's a crazy story. Here's another crazy story. No longer do you call these guys fireman Ed's Jets. Jets are doing something. They upset the Packers. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm going to say something about the Packers here. 27-10. Jets are now 4-2. Hey, Aaron Rodgers, if you don't want to freaking play any longer, get out. I'm sick of you. If I was his teammate, I'm sick of you and your mushrooms. Get out of here. I'm sick of you, dude. Either play or don't. Just shut up, guy. You're nauseating and you're like a 10-year-old. Well, I don't know if I want to play with my bat and ball, and I don't know if you want to play either. This guy is a 40-year-old baby. Shut up, guy. You maybe I don't play because our wide receivers aren't being developed. Now I know why you don't win. You know why? Because you're a tool. You are a tool. No champion talks like a baby. He's like, man, well, my wide receivers, you didn't keep Devontae, and, bro, he didn't want to stay. He's probably tired of your shit, too. Dude, man, enough. And one more time. Hey, Brett Favre may be in trouble right now. Packer fans will never revere Aaron Rodgers like they did Favre. Okay? He was more relatable. Aaron Rodgers and his mushroom and his ponytails and his drug-playing guitar friends that he sits around the fire, blowing doobs with. This guy here, man, you're like, I don't know. I don't relate with this guy. This guy's doing seances and shit. I don't know. Maybe I should play. Maybe I should talk to the Zen doctor and figure out what I'm going to do next year. He is an absolute loser. Colts beat the Jags. Frank gets the best of Doug Peterson, 34-27. Matt Ryan, 42 of 58, 389 and 3 touchdowns. Good to see him bounce back. Vikings. How about the Vikings at 5-1? Would we not agree? This is the best team. This is the best team that the Eagles have played. Cowboy team is not better. They're not better than the Vikings. They're not better than Minnesota. Okay? They're not better than Minnesota. No way. That Dolphins thing is in a nuclear meltdown, isn't it? 24-16. Bengals beat the Saints. Good for the Eagles. Why? Draft pick. I think stays in the top 5. Okay? Yeah. Vikings W turning into a... Oh, no. Xander. Agreed. By the way, that was Xander's dark horse team. And I agree with him now. And before the season started, dude, 4-1. Okay. Or 5-1, excuse me. They're 5-1 now. That's the best win that the Eagles have had this year. That's the best team that they've played. Welcome to our soft society, Sills. Oh, Paul, it's a number 5 pick. Shit, you're right there, man. With Will Anderson, man. Absolutely. Hey, Will Anderson needed to show up a little more in that Tennessee game, though, didn't he? How about the Giants, man? I beat the Ravens 24-20. Now 5-1. Great job, Brian Dable. Dude, you'd have to agree, Brian Dable and Nick Siriani are your potential NFL coaches of the year right now. You're in a debate right now with those two dudes on who the coach of the year is. I happen to think it might be Dable, and here's the only reason. You're doing it with that shit stick quarterback, Daniel Jones. That dude's 5-1 with a guy who's terrible. He's terrible. You know, he's making some plays, but dude, you're not going to run an effective offense with that guy at the helm. You're just not. You're just not, man. He's nothing. Dude, they need they get a legitimate quarterback in there next year. They're going to be pretty formidable. Latricious, is that it? I don't know what the Giants are doing either, dude. It's crazy. I don't see it. I don't know how they're doing it. They play with a lot of energy, though. Okay. Hey, Rage. Can we agree the NFC East is scary? I'll admit this. I'm wrong. I thought it was just a shitty schedules that they're playing, but they're beating good teams. I mean, Vikings. Watch this. Every team in the East with a good record has a legitimate win on it. They beat the Vikings. Okay, right? They've beat the Vikings. The Giants have beaten the Packers. I mean, there's some good wins on these teams and this division. So there's some outside of just the East. There's like they've beaten teams. Crazy. Hey, the Giant defense. And by the way, that Kayvon Thibodeau kid from Oregon, he is good. He's a good ball player. Steelers beat the Bucks 20-18. 25 of 40, 243 in a touchdown. The Bucks are now 3-3. I don't want to hear Tom Brady's problems any longer. I'm sick of him too. He's going through marriage issues. Hey, welcome to the world, guy. Why should I feel sorry for you? It's the NFL. Everyone's got problems in life. Media making out, well, you know, Tom is this and shut the hell up. I don't care. Go play ball, guy. Okay? I don't give a shit about that stuff. Everyone's got problems in life. Everyone's got a sick person or someone you're taking care of, or there's a family issue, or maybe your marriage isn't going well. Welcome to the world. Why do I care about Tom Brady? Why? Because his Camelot has melted in front of his face? Some would go, Sills, that's being harsh. No. It's about winning ball games. It's not about being a marriage counselor. I'm not a marriage counselor. There's places for that. Football field ain't it. Football field ain't it. I want to hear about your shit. I don't care. Well, Tom is really good. So? Then don't come back. You were the guy that put your marriage on the block. No one else. Don't blame us for your problems and your inability to play this year because you're not playing well. Seals, you're being hard on a guy who won 7 Super. No. Every year is a new year. You got to reprove yourself. Didn't he say that? That's out of like TB12's manual. No one cares what you did. Well, I'm applying his own logic. Oh, I see. You really believe your own logic? Rams come back and beat the Panthers 24-10. They're now 3-3. Dude, there's nobody special in the NFC except the Eagles right now. Seahawks, they beat the Cardinals 19-9. I got to do it for Geno Smith, though. You know, I think they're decent. Dude, I'll tell you this. DK Metcalf can play. He's a good football player. Okay? Look at 007, breaking news. Darius Slay has been arrested and charged with assault on CeeDee Lamb. That's funny. Bills beat the Chiefs 24-20. That was a heck of a ball game. But I'm going to say it one more time to you. Dude, you need to come up with a way to stop that guy, Josh Allen, from taking hits. Shit, Jalen does not take hits like that. This guy taking big hits on – you know who he reminds me of? Andrew Luck. He reminds me of the way Andrew Luck got the shit beat out of him on the sidelines there like that. Hey, Shakur, man. No, Geno's playing decent, man. I'm happy for him. He's South Florida kid. How about that hop? Oh, my God, that was unbelievable when he hurdled the guy. Dude, that guy is some athlete. Dude, he hurdled the guy going up the sidelines. He is a freak show. Bills are now 5-1 on the season. Right, man. Hey, I got to take a time out here. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
It's a fall car fest, and Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, says, yes, you can. Jeff says, yes, you can choose from over 1,000 vehicles in stock with no wait. Yes, you can still get low prices, leases, and big discounts. Yes, you can still get low interest financing. And Jeff always says, yes, you can have a real deal buying experience without the hassle. When the other dealers say, no, you can't, Jeff says, yes, you can. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown. Nobody treats you better. Jeep Adventure Days.
Over the last 17 years, we've built a reputation of growing award-winning teams across the country. Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. Hi, I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
National Football Show. Appreciate all coming aboard. Who plays tonight? Denver and who? Is it Denver and the Chargers tonight? I think it's Denver and Los Angeles, right? They play tonight. Dude, I got the Chargers all night. Nathaniel Hackett. How appropriate of a last name. Okay? I mean, dude, you talk about a guy. I got to give Xander love again here. Xander goes, Sills, you really think Russell Wilson? This was when the Eagles were kind of like kicking the can around on potentially going after Russell Wilson and making a bid for him. Xander's like, you think that guy's really all that hot? BF, Sileo's a better coach than Hackett. Yeah, because you know what I would do, BF? Instead of pretending that I'm some sort of like genius play caller like Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay, I would hire one. Okay? I would hire one. Somebody that worked with Russell Wilson. I would hire somebody that he's comfortable with. You know how I would be a great coach? I wouldn't do it myself. I would hire the best offensive coordinator that fit my quarterback skill set. Then I would hire a defense on how I wanted it to be in my image with that style of play that I wanted it to look like for our team to have the identity. Jim Johnson, Buddy Ryan. I want Dan Quinn, those dudes. And I would sit back, and you know what I would do? I would work with the personnel department, bringing in who we thought fit those coaches, and those coaches would tell me the kind of player and the kind of identity they wanted through those players. What is your type of football player? And we're going to go out and profile a kid. I don't care what the name is on the back of the jersey. We're going to put kids in a system that fit your system. We're not going to have a system and then plug and play. That's why I would be a great coach. I wouldn't do it because I would think that there's guys more qualified. But I'll tell you what I do. I can identify people that how I wanted that team to look. We're going to do this. We want it to be this, and I want it to look like this. That's how I would do it. That's how I would put a football team together. Okay? I mean, that right there to me is how a great coach works. Okay? I will clip that and send it to NFL teams, and you'll have a call in the morning. Krause, right? But you see, what happened is egos. People think they're great play callers, or the ego gets in the way. Well, I was a great play caller, when I was in Green Bay, and now Kellen Moore's my. Just shut up, dude. You're a head coach now. There's the difference. You're no longer a position coach. Bill Parcells told me this a long time ago. The hardest transition he ever had was going from assistant coach to being a head coach. He told Phil Simms after the first year, Simms, if I survive this, we're going to win a lot of ball games. And they did. Okay? Ran the ball, played defense, great on special teams. Shit, you couldn't even name a New York Giant wide receiver back in those days, except for Bavaro out of the tight end slot. And O.J. Anderson, the kid Morse from Syracuse. There was a bunch of kids, Dave Meggett, them kind of guys. Nobody drafted in the first 3 rounds. Free agent cast-offs. That was Parcells' MO, his whole entire coaching career. I took that from Jimmy. I'm not going to play call anything. Because what I'm going to do is, if we start shit in the bed, I'm getting on my position coaches and I'm hammering them. Hey, that ain't looking good. Okay? I want this team, Daniel Hackett's calling plays. Why? Okay? I think sometimes this gets in the way of Kyle Shanahan. Can I tell you who really got it right? Because you know why? His grandfather, John McVay, told him, don't run both sides of the football. You can't. And call plays. You can't. That's why he hired Wade Phillips as his first D coordinator in Los Angeles. He said, get an experienced guy so he can handle that, and you guys can work together, and he can inform you. Then, once you understand how to become more of a head coach, then you hire Raheem Morris. And that's what Sean has done. Sean's a really great young coach, 37 years old. He's got 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl. That dude is putting a Hall of Fame resume together. Okay? But these coaches today, the ones that can't put the headset down, those are the ones that get fired. Matt Rule. What a dummy. What a dummy. Dude, the only reason, you know why Bill Belichick assistant coaches fail? Because they fit what Bill wants. There's nobody in that the only two guys that have really ever panned out from Belichick have been what? Bill O'Brien, right? And Brian Flores, really. The rest of them have been dog shit. Charlie Weiss's of the world. And, Romeo Crennel was more of a Parcells guy back to New York days. I mean, Tom Coughlin also was a Parcells guy too back in the day. Tom was a good coach. Tom's actually just as accomplished as Parcells was. But I think would we not agree? Nick Sirianni's become a better head coach since he's given up the head coaching and / the offensive play calling. Has he not? Would you agree? Okay. Would you agree that Sirianni's a better coach today because he's given up the play calling? Right? Chris says, does anyone else think Thibodeau reminds you of LT again? LaDainian Tomlinson, maybe? Not the other guy. Please, there's 2 numbers. You want to hear something? Actually, there's 3 numbers probably. In pro football history, you'll never forget. 51, 92, okay, and 56. 51, 56, 92. The rest of them, right? Dion couldn't crack an egg. Great cover guy, but 92, 56, 51. Those 3 numbers are all you need to know about defensive football players in the NFL. Don't do that to me with 99. Now stop that. That's not fair. Okay? Shakur, right? Sirianni's a better coach today. Hey, by the way, the ticket, Aaron Donald's getting blasted against the run this year. That's another reason why the Rams look terrible on defense this year. Sirianni makes mistakes in most games. He still thinks Philly can win without running the ball. And he's wrong. The Arizona game showed that. Brandon, I think whenever they needed to get a big, long series, I think they go to that. They had a long series drive in Arizona, and they had a long series drive to end the game last night at the Link. When they need to close a game out, they close a game out by running the ball. They closed the game out by running it. So, I don't know. I mean, to me, the problem is Gannon in the second half when teams adjust against him, he goes back into that shell defense, keeps everything underneath, and quarterbacks in the NFL, even Cooper Rush, they find a soft zone. And when they find a soft zone, they get back in games. 2017 last night. I mean, you made that. How about this? Gannon made that game closer than it needed to be. He did. He made that game closer than what it needed to be. Because if you really think about it, I mean, where did the advantage come from? They started running the ball a little better and more effectively, Dallas did, when they came out of the half. Zeke had some power runs. Yeah, I get it. I do. Okay, I do. I get it a little bit there. Philly should just fire Gannon and bring Fangio in. Gannon never blitzes with the lead. Dude, and I don't think that defense puts people to sleep. Like the Ravens defense put people to sleep. Gang Green put you to sleep. They had a lead. They only needed 3 points, and they were going to win a game. Once you put points on the board with Seth's guys, it was over. It was absolutely over. They were not going to surrender a lead, and they were not going to let a team come back in on you. 42, a little bit Ronnie Lott maybe, but I still think 51, 56, and 92. You'll never forget those numbers. And you don't, hey, by the way, you don't really need names on the back of the jerseys when you see those numbers. Kelly Green, 92. Bear Blue, 51, right? And Giant Blue, 56. You don't really need a name, do you? All right. Successful 6 games. Congratulations, Eagle fans. Congratulations. You go into the bye with some needed rest. Then we start the second journey right after the bye. Fantastic job. Hey, thank you guys so much. Please hit the like button. We will see you tomorrow going 3 to 6. Xander, thank you so much. And we'll see you on the flip side.